to DAX Machina. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us on another edition of DAX Machina. Got Steve back in the house after a long hiatus. He's feeling better, feeling somewhat better now after a long bout with the Black Plague of the 21st century. But he's still vertical and above the dirt, so we're happy to have you back. And of course, we got the psycho himself, Anthony Pitbull Canatella. He is in the house with a room full of pit bulls behind him. So, has he not earned that nickname? Yes, he has.
Funny.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Well, I'm hanging in there.
And I know you're still a little raspy, and my voice might be a little raspy too, because I just came from a memorial dinner for my old Lieutenant James Jenkins. His wife Martha, who was like the mother of everybody on our shift, she passed away last year. And if you guys actually know, it was earlier this year. I'm sorry. And if you guys have read Lakeview Man 3, Beast of Blunk Road, there's a dedication to her, and I actually wrote her in as a character in the book. But tonight was a memorial dinner because it was her birthday. So we all went, and there was a bunch of people there, and it was really loud. And I was talking to everybody, and of course, when you're in a room full of, most of them retired cops, the room gets a little loud, and I was talking at the top of my voice in our little group, and now I kind of sound like Harvey Fires. Welcome to the show.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss, brother. I know that you and Jenkins were close, and obviously his wife was like family. So, my good vibes go out to you, man.
He's probably listening tonight. He said he loves the show. So, LT, if you're listening, love you, sir. Love you, my friend. Werewolf says he loves the shirt. This is one of my Bigfoot Hawaiian print shirts. I don't know if you can see it, but there on the arm you can see Bigfoot. The other one has Bigfoot on a surfboard, which I think is hilarious. So you probably see these more often, especially if you go to the convention in August. I will probably be wearing both of them at some point during the convention.
I thought you were pulling a Magnum PI on us or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, can't do too long. We'll get a copyright strike.
Yeah.
This is one of those part of my wife won't let me wear it out in public wardrobe, right?
Yeah, and that just shakes her head. She's used to me now.
Yeah, what did they say about guys? What was the comment last year about guys wearing Hawaiian shirts in the gun industry? What was it? They said they were all.
Oh, I can't remember what that.
It was something they were saying. Anybody that wears Hawaiian shirts is a psycho mass shooter or something. That's what they were making the comments. I was like, what? So everybody had their mags. Everybody was getting their PMags and their rifles dipped with Hawaiian patterns and going to the range with them. It was too funny.
Well,
Northwood said, so the red Ferrari is next, DA. Yeah. I wouldn't buy a Ferrari if I could afford one, because I would rather buy a house than a Ferrari. But it would be cool to drive.
I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee and shoot back on real quick.
All right, man.
Well, given that most of my summer wardrobe are Hawaiian shirts, it really doesn't say too much about my mental stability, I guess.
So I hadn't had a chance to talk to you since I found out. I am going to be a pro guest at Archon this year. And I've already talked to John Mayberry, where we're going to be doing some panels together. So maybe you and Rachel should think about going to Archon.
Well, I know we'd gotten tickets for last year, and then the Black Plague has
Hang on, I disconnected my stupid headphones.
Uh-oh.
Just talk amongst yourselves. Give me a second. I got to move this cord because I keep kicking it.
It wouldn't be the DAX Machina show if there wasn't technical difficulties.
Okay, we're back. Have to recover my coffee, too.
I love it.
Sorry.
That's right. I was just saying it wouldn't be our show if there weren't some technical difficulties.
Well, that was completely my fault. My cord, we were having trouble with my speaker, so we had to move the cord. And where the cord is at now is right where I put my feet. So if I'm not careful, I unplug that stupid thing.
I love it. But yeah, Rachel and I actually had tickets for Archon last year, and the Black Plague shut us down.
Yeah, I was supposed to be a pro guest last year, but they ended up doing the convention as a virtual convention. So I didn't end up going, but we are on the books this year. So we are going to Archon. I will also be modeling my Bigfoot Hawaiian shirts there. I'm going to try to pick up a couple more before Archon, because I know Mayberry's famous for wearing Hawaiian print shirts. So if I'm going to do a couple panels with John Mayberry, I'm going to be rocking a Bigfoot Hawaiian print shirt.
Oh yeah, I think it's required dress code when the man's in the house. To be honest with you,
Exactly.
We've
got to get a picture of you, me, and John Mayberry, all holding a glass of scotch, all wearing ugly shirts.
Oh, it would work. When I got to meet him in Willow Springs that time, was it 5-10 years ago, whatever it was. By dumbass luck, I happened to be wearing a Hawaiian print shirt, and I have a habit of going into bookstores whenever I travel, just because I like books. And he happened to be there, and like when I went to get his autograph, he kind of looks at my shirt and he laughs and like, "I like your wardrobe." And I'm like, "It wasn't planned. I'm sorry."
But still hilarious.
Oh, it made a great picture too. I loved it.
Yeah, that is an awesome picture. Well, Anthony should be back in a minute. The plan for tonight, folks, is I have a bunch of firsthand encounter stories that, since we didn't book a guest tonight, just so we could kind of have a relaxed show. Todd Neese will be joining us next Wednesday, and I have some update information about the Wednesday shows. I know we discussed dropping back to just Saturday shows, but we're probably going to keep the Wednesday show. And there will be weeks when I don't do a Saturday show because we've been booked for several conventions for the rest of the year. And those are always on weekends. So there's going to be some upcoming weekends when there's not a Saturday show, but for the foreseeable future, we're going to keep the Wednesday show. So I didn't plan a couple of those conventions. Those are just kind of like, there you go. So they're starting to come to me. So I think I've kind of reached a certain plateau in my career where people are like, "Hey, let's get that guy. He's kind of an idiot. Well, let's get him anyway."
It's like, hey, he makes the kids laugh.
Yeah, he always dresses funny.
I'm just looking up the dates here for Archon just to see.
It's the last weekend in September into the first weekend of October. Like it's like the 29th or 30th through the 30th through October 2nd. And I've got another one I need to mention on here. Let me get a picture uploaded real fast for this other convention. And what's going on here? It is not allowing me to add an overlay. Weird. Oh, there it went. It's just slow. Let me find the picture real quick. And I also need to find the... Give me just a moment. Everybody already knows about the one coming up in April. I'm not April, in August, the Dogman conference. But where's that one? That's a different one. Sorry. There it is. Okay, found the picture. I will get the Eventbrite link here in just a minute. But this is it. It's the Fall into the Supernatural in September 23rd through 24th this year in Lexington, Missouri at the Haunted Big River Ranch. There's going to be a lot of paranormal speakers. I'll be there doing cryptids. We're also doing kind of a Bigfoot hunting thing where we're going to set out by the woods with a campfire and talk about different techniques for drawing them in and what to look for and tracking and things like that. So it's going to be a really good time. The Eventbrite link, I am going to have to pull that up. So give me just a moment. For anybody that's interested in going. I know I've got the link. Just got to find it. My apologies.
Well, give a shout out to everyone. George is on. Juanita, Rob, Bigfoot. Hey, Rob. West Coast, hey, what's up, man? Renee. Who else? Tony. Everybody's on, I guess. Normal people. Trish. Frank. Let's see. Did I miss anyone?
Looks like
I just
they've got
posted the
most of
link in the chat, and this is for the Eventbrite. For tickets are still available for Fall into the Supernatural. Again, that's in Lexington, Missouri, which is up close to Kansas City. So if you're in any of the neighboring states, it's just right down 270. So it's pretty easy to find. But again, that'll be the 23rd through 24th of September. And I'll be there as a cryptid speaker. I'll have books and all kinds of stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And Julie says Paris, Tennessee is Julie S828 says Paris, Tennessee is going to be epic. Yeah, if you haven't got your tickets for Paris, Tennessee, those are still available. It's for the this one, the first annual Dogman Cryptid Conference in Paris, Tennessee. Going to be a lot of good speakers there. It's going to be a good time. So you guys can check that out, and I'll grab the link for that here in a bit. I know I've posted it before, but I'll throw it back up there here shortly. And of course, what Steve and I were talking, I'll be a guest at Archon St. Louis, which is actually just across the river from St. Louis in, what is it, Clarkston or something? Collinsville, Illinois. It's a 3-day event. It's a sci-fi and fantasy fantasy convention. So I'll be there with my books. Jonathan Mayberry will be there. If you guys have seen the episode with a couple episodes with John Mayberry on the show, he's the Toastmaster. I'll be doing a couple panels with him. We'll have books there, and I'll be doing some book signings and things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just look for Archon St. Louis. Just Google that. I believe it's archonstl.org. I will post the link for that as well if you just give me just a moment.
And that's September 30th through October 2nd. So.
Yeah, this is Archon 45. I was going to be a guest there before, but the Black Plague of the 21st century shut that down. I just posted the link. It's archonstl.org. And you can still book tickets and everything there. The hotel that's attached to the convention center is sold out. So we were unable to get a hotel room there. But I will still be there for all the after hours activities, the meet and greets and everybody hanging around and talking. So if you're going to be an Archon, I'll be there into the night. I'll just have to leave to go to my hotel. And you can buy the tickets for Archon St. Louis directly through the website.
Let's see.
Doing some the convention scene, huh, brother?
Yeah, kind of trying to get back into that because we stopped doing it for a long time. Part of it was because of my back, and part of it was because of the epidemic, so to speak. But now that people are starting to go to shows again, and they're opening things up, and restrictions have been lifted on a lot of stuff, I'm going to get back into going to a lot more of those. So, like I said, about the show tonight, what I'm going to be doing is reading some firsthand encounters, and it's kind of a segue into when me planning on doing some book narrations. If I want to see what everybody thinks of the narration style, how I do my voice, how I modulate, and I can send Steve and Anthony some of these accounts too if they want to read some of them, which probably be better on my voice since I'm kind of gravelly doing the Harvey Firestein. Oh Lord!
I'm not doing much better than you are, brother.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Jesus, I still got a nasal drip going on. I mean, it's like
Anthony, your voice is gravelly on a good day.
I know it is.
You sound like a hitman.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah, he was an extra on The Sopranos.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's what Bobby's like. You could get a job being an extra in movies. She goes, why don't you ask Jesus? Maybe he could get you a job, as playing a mobster. I'm like, that's not a bad idea.
You've got the voice and the accent for it. So you show up, in a Brooks Brothers suit, people are going to run.
I know. It's just a funny thing.
People will just vacate the area. That's what I got to do. If my books ever take off and I'm like making like movie deals and stuff, I'll just have you follow me around in a suit with an earpiece.
You know. My John and my dad, my Uncle John and my dad went to an Italian American dinner, and they were dressed up as gangsters. I gotta find the picture. You would die. I think my dad had his shoulder holster on, wearing it, a fake gun, and he had a fedora on. And I think John, I'm not sure, but it was classic. They looked, they fit the part. It was funny.
I think Anthony would be awesome in like the old style Dean Martin suit with the fedora.
Yeah,
wide lapel.
There you go. I want to say thank you real quick to Lanita Bryant for the super sticker. Lanita, you are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, hon. Oh.
Appreciate it. Well, I'm going to jump in and do this first story. Some of these stories tonight are coming from Josh Nanocchio over at What Lurks Beneath. He wasn't able to join us tonight, but he did send me some of these stories. This one that I'm going to read right now is actually from the NADP files from Missouri. The NADP has a bunch of collected accounts, and I've shared a couple of these on Facebook, but this will be the first time I've actually read one of them online. And this actually happened in St. Louis County, which is not in St. Louis proper. It's one of the outlying regions around St. Louis. Happened back in 2015. It was a Dogman encounter. The account starts like this. It says, I was rolling the trash cans out for pickup early the next day. It was late, so I grabbed a flashlight. I walked out to the back door, unlocked the gate, and was dragging the can while walking backwards. As I passed the fence, it blocked my view of my neighbor's garage. That's when my light hit this wolf creature. I froze instantly. The creature was about 20 feet away, and I could clearly see that it was crouching. When our eyes met, it turned to its right and fell to all fours and leaped my neighbor's driveway in a single jump. That driveway is about 12 feet wide. The creature was about 8 feet tall and maybe 300 pounds. It looked kind of thin around the waist, but it was very muscular. I dropped the trash can, and panic set in. I ran inside, grabbed my gun, and locked myself in my room. I've never felt fear like that before. When the light hit its eyes, they were a vibrant yellow color. His fur was short and charcoal colored. I could hear the clicking of his claws when he dropped down on all fours. I thought I was seeing things. I didn't sleep a wink that night. It made me really question my sanity. Furthermore, it made me seek a concealed carry weapons permit. Well, I don't blame him.
No, I grew up not too far from there. That's a little bit concerning.
Yeah, if you want to take your trash can out to the curb at night, and your flashlight lit one of those up. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be too pleasant.
Yep.
And
that's up by wait until next week.
That's up by you, right, DA, in Missouri?
Yeah, that's actually not far from where my son lives. That's about 3.5 hours north. Well, the way I drive, 3 hours northeast of us.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, that is about 45 minutes to an hour from where I was born and grew up.
Huh. The weird thing about that St. Louis area is you've got this huge downtown metropolitan area of St. Louis, and St. Louis is the biggest city in Missouri. Close second is Kansas City. But St. Louis is a huge metropolitan area. But as you get out to the suburb areas, it's like nicer houses and some factories and stuff, and then woods. Once you get out of the city proper, it's pretty heavily wooded around there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you've got the northern end of the Mark Twain National Forest butts right up to St. Louis.
Yeah, and they got some pretty woolly areas. They've got just south of there. They've got like a Boy Scout ranch that's pretty undeveloped, and it's a little crazy.
Toshi the Wolf says, "Hell, I just opened the can and be like, here, you earned it. It's yours now." And turn back inside. Northwood says that's when you start carrying a 458 SOCOM to take out the trash. Oh, yeah, that would be pretty terrifying. And that again, that's just from right here in Missouri, like 3.5 hours northeast of me. Hey, we've got a lot of people showing up. Midnight Squatchers are here tonight. Hey, thank you guys for joining us. Werewolf 5674 says, look like the Archon lodging is sold out. Yeah, the hotel attached to the convention center is sold out, but there are numerous hotels around the area, including a Drury Inn that's like 0.3 of a mile away, which I think that's where we're going to wind up staying, is that Drury Inn right there. And I'd already booked it, but I don't remember which one she booked. So,
yeah. Fortunately, I mean, it's a pretty big metro area there. There's lots of places to stay.
There are tons of hotels within 20 minutes drive of that of the convention. So if you're looking to go, man, it's easy to book a hotel somewhere near the area. Let's see. So you got what? Anthony's getting coffee, but anything else you want to talk about on that particular encounter, or want to move on?
Did they have any follow-up to that? Like any other?
The NADP apparently reached out to the guy and didn't hear anything back. So probably scared the crap out of him. I mean, I don't blame him for getting a concealed carry. But then again, if I lived anywhere near St. Louis, I wouldn't check my mail without a gun on.
Well, if he had it, though, would it have done him any good?
Probably not, especially if it was 20 feet away. If it cleared a driveway, a 12-foot driveway in a single bound, I don't think he could have drawn in time for it to prevent it from taking him to the ground, had it so wanted to. I mean, 20 feet away, it kind of had him dead to rights.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, a human at that range, you'd be hard-pressed to clear leather and take down. Yeah,
that's what they could refer to as the 21-foot rule.
Yeah.
But, if it was within 20 feet of him, there is no way he could have cleared before it got him.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
He should count his lucky stars that thing wasn't on the hunt for somebody.
Yeah, I'm picturing something like that. Yeah, I'm thinking those like rollaway garbage dumpsters. The ones that are like 4 feet tall. Picture the thing just holding it up and
shaking it like a half-empty popcorn bag.
Right. Oh Lord. No, thank you.
Lanita was saying, Northwood said they've got 2 rounds of thunderstorms rolling in there now. Lanita says no rain there till Monday. We're supposed to get rain later this coming week. And frankly, I hope it does, because all of our grass is turning brown.
This back-to-back 100-degree weather with the humidity we have, it's like we died and moved into Satan's butthole.
It's so freaking hot. 2 hobbits threw a ring in my backyard today.
Oh, that's a new one. I like that one. Not a big fan.
Yeah. This next encounter comes from Chesterfield County, Missouri. I'm not sure where Chesterfield County is. Is that up by St. Louis?
Chesterfield, I don't think Chesterfield's a county by itself. Chesterfield, Missouri is kind of northwest of the city. Mm-hmm. And it's...
I'm not even sure there is a Chesterfield County. This must be a misprint, because that's what it says on the account, Chesterfield County, Mo.
Yeah, I think it's just Chesterfield. It's in West County.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one's an older one. This is from the 1960s. Apparently, they'd spotted 3 dogmen eating something. It says, dogmen eating something, 1960s description. I saw 3 of them eating something big and bloody in a field. They saw me, stopped eating, and followed me back to the farm when I left. This happened more than 50 years ago. It was forbidden to talk about it in the family, lest neighbors think we were crackpots. Now all the old folks are gone, and I've told my children about what I saw that day. They said I should write it down, but I think I'll leave that up to them to do. When I finally told where and what had happened, I was called a bald-faced liar and given a good beating, apparently by his parents. Back in the 60s, that wasn't uncommon. Then the folks went to the field and to the truck that I hid in and saw the gore, blood, scratches, prints, and all. Later, an uncle up the road about 5 miles had these prints come up to his house. He took pictures of them, and there was a newspaper article about some sort of huge cat prowling around. I don't know if that has anything to do with those critters or not. A neighboring farm that was owned by a wealthy family compared to us had a prize bull go missing. Holy crap, a bull. That's not a small animal. So I bet that had something to do with those things. He was a huge thing and very ornery. They never found a trace. So apparently that was in the early '60s sometime. But a good sized breeding bull, a prize breeding bull, probably weighing the ballpark of 1,800 to 2,000 pounds. For that to just go missing, holy crap!
I say, if you're looking at 1,200 for a little one.
Yeah. Tochi the wolf says, "Well, we know what they were munching on."
Yeah.
Well, when they were talking about the big cat prowling around, I'm like, well, not anymore. But then, yeah, perhaps.
Well, they might have just claimed large canine prints were cat prints just because they were too big. But that one's a pretty weird one. Again, takes place back in the '60s, and obviously the guy's retelling it from years and years before. But I think that's something that would be pretty firmly etched in my brain too. Something if I, even if I saw it as a kid, 3 of them eating something and leaving blood everywhere. I guess his family finally believed him after they saw that. Yeah. Werewolf 5674 says 2,000 easy and lots of money.
Yeah.
Yep. That is some expense right there.
Yeah, to lose a prize bull, that's a huge thing. That's a huge financial setback for anybody that raises cattle.
Yeah, it's like what they're dealing with. What was it? All the ranchers were dealing with in, where is it, Wyoming, Colorado, with the grizzlies. What was it, last year, 2 years ago? They were coming down and just attacking. It was a fluke thing. They had it was like 3 ranchers that were getting hit by these 2 male bull grizzlies that were coming down. I was watching it on, I think it was Discovery or History, and they couldn't figure out, that they thought it was 1 grizzly, and meanwhile it turned out to be 4. 4 grizzlies almost the same size. Just hitting the hell out of it was hitting the ranches hard.
At that point, I would sell my shit and move.
A predator that big can do some damage to an expensive herd, especially if they decide that area is their hunting grounds. Because how easy is it to hunt a cow that can't get out of the fence?
Right. You got a 1,200-pound grizzly bear that's 12 foot, full grown. You ain't gonna stop it. You're not gonna get in between it and its food. That's
definitely not.
So.
And if you're there's so many accounts, especially like down in Taylor, Mississippi, of livestock being attacked. It's a easy prey. I mean, even for normal animals like coyotes and wolves and bears at times. People lose farm animals all the time, and that's one of the dangers you've got to deal with if you're a farmer or a rancher, is something taking out your livestock. But for something to take out something as big as a bull, or like the one Jesus was telling us, ripping the leg off a full-grown horse, that's power. That's not something coyotes did. That's not something wolves did. That takes incredible strength. And for something to take on basically probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a 2,000-pound bull, depending on the breed. I mean, like Brahmas can get pretty big. Limousines are massive. Hereford bulls are freaking huge. I don't know what breed. It just said cattle, so I don't know what breed of cattle it was, but I would guess, rough estimate, probably in the 2,000-pound range. For that to go missing is just incredible.
Not even bulls. Look at all the accounts with the hunters when they shoot a deer.
Mm-hmm.
You got.
Well, I had that happen to me. I had a 200-pound gone like smoke.
Even hogs. You got a 200, 300-pound hog. I'm not picking it up and running with it.
Even in my prime, a deer as big as the one I lost, I had to have dragged.
No, look at that. What was that one story that I think Cam told it on Dixie Cryptid, when it was him and his 2 sons hunting hogs that night, and that whole clan came out. It was in Texas, and they were shooting them at night, and they watched this thing crawl, pick up 2 hogs on each arm, and just walk off with them. It's like.
Yeah, something they can keep picking up 2 full-grown hogs. I'm going to let him have them.
Exactly.
I figured anything I've got to probably just piss it off, and I don't want to be slung over, carried off with the 2 hogs.
Yeah, that's very true.
Gonna make you squeal like a pig.
Thank you.
I just watched that the other night. I just watched that movie the other night.
Deliverance.
Yeah, I was like, man, I forgot about this movie. But what they
Party
did,
mouth.
yeah, I'm like, what would possess you not to fight back?
No kidding. They would have had to kill me.
I'm like, man, I would have.
And
Like,
without the
these guys
beard, I look way too much like Ned Beatty, so that's not happening.
Yeah, but the way they acted in that movie, I think Burt Reynolds was the only tough ass in the movie. The rest were like pencil pushers that were scared of their own shadow. I'm like, some guy's going to rape you out in the woods. You're just going to drop your pants and let him do it? Like, come on.
No. You know, I grew up in a predominantly rural area, and I spent a lot of time floating rivers in Missouri. And I've never once seen a couple of guys going by a canoe and went, you know what? I'm going to ask one of them. It just never entered my mind.
Right. Well, it's like that saying. If you went camping and you woke up and your pants were below your ankles and you had Vaseline all over your ass, would you go camping? Would you tell anybody? And everybody's like, no. Well, when do you want to go camping? That's what.
Lord.
Yeah.
And there we went, demonetized.
Well, I think we're far enough that we might be safe.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, there's a lot worse on YouTube that people talk about than us. Trust me on that. What did she put? Banjo start? Yeah, you hear banjo start playing. Yeah, you're gone.
Yeah. Okay, I'll jump into the next one. This one's south of Columbia, Missouri. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the Columbia area, where Wolf might be, but there's some pretty heavily wooded areas around Columbia. It's much like St. Louis. Once you get away from the actual city of Columbia, it's all rural farms and woods, and got the Missouri River not far away. So there's plenty of terrain and game and areas where something like this can survive. This happened south of Columbia. A large dog by the road that ran away on two legs. So I saw a silhouette in the distance right on the edge of the road and slowed down, thinking it was a deer and might run out into my path. As I got closer and could see more detail, I realized it was a dog, a big dog. Sitting on its haunches, its head would have easily cleared the height of my waist. I continued slowing down on approach, partly in case it chose to bolt into the road, and partly in an attempt to see more detail of what kind of dog it was. A family member used to groom dogs, and I became quite familiar, but this one was new to me. I remember it had dark, shaggy, tangly, thick fur that stuck out rather than laying flat. But that's all the detail I could see. As my car approached this dog, it stood up on its hind legs. I could see the canine-style hip shape in the moments before it ran away on its hind legs. Seemingly surprisingly nimble in spite of the leg shape, which should have prevented the ability to run. It sprinted the few yards between the road and the forest and disappeared into the trees as my car passed. Now increasing speed out of fear. That's just a roadside sighting, and it ran away on two legs. So from the description, the way it's talking, it definitely had digitigrade feet, like the hind legs of a dog, which is common among a lot of the sightings of Dogman. There are some sightings of Dogman that claim they have plantigrade feet, like a human. But I think those might actually be misidentified gugway. But I think the primary characteristic that we hear about dogmen is the digitigrade feet, with the legs with the hawk.
Yeah, but you said they say they hear that popping and cracking sound, right? When they go on, right?
When they stand up, or
so is that them like dislocating their joints to get back up, or
maybe it's them like changing the positioning of their hands, to going from running on all fours to actually using hands.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up, really.
I know if I saw something like that on the side of the road, once I realized what I was looking at, I'd probably bury the speedometer as fast as my car.
Yeah, you'd be gone.
Yeah. Otherwise, they'd just find an abandoned car at the side of the road with a busted-out window.
Truth.
And that's a good way to wind up a missing 411 case.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Anybody in the audience? What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, let's see. See anything else or something? I'm not seeing anything yet.
They're still in shock like I am.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, Frank put, no, it seems like they're more in the south. Yeah, well, Most likely. I mean, what?
Toshi the Wolf says, but which way would you go? Back the way you came?
Right.
From back the way you came from, or keep speeding by? I think it would be faster just to punch it and hope it didn't catch your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that one that was running.
By the time you make a 27-point turn to get yourself turned around,
Yeah.
got you.
If I was trying to turn around that fast, it'd just be what they call a bootlegger's reverse. Just
Yeah.
Facebook user, I'm not sure who that is because Facebook again strikes again. If you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you can authorize StreamYard to show your name, but unfortunately, Facebook being what it is, we're just going to see Facebook user until you authorize it. But Facebook user says the popping and crackling, I think, is the joints and bones changing to accommodate the being on two legs. I think you're probably correct about that.
Yeah, I forget who we had on the show that said, what was that? Was that William Nighthawk that said that?
Yes.
Somebody made he made a comment about that. They could dislocate and go down on all fours or walk on all twos. Two legs and just go.
Northwood said he just sent me a picture. I've got to get into my email real quick so I can find the picture.
Oh, okay. But what, the Dogman thing he was talking about?
Yeah, a picture. It looks like it's a drawing of the Michigan Dogman. Let me upload that real quick. Give me just a second. Apparently, this is a drawing of what the Michigan Dogman supposedly looks like. And, that's a lot like what I saw in LBL. The ears were pointed like that with the hair on top. Mm-hmm. Although I didn't see as much facial detail because, well, one, it was broad daylight, but it was in shadow. So I could see the silhouette of the head and I could kind of see the nose, but I really couldn't see the eyes or any facial details. It was looking directly at me. And when it realized I was looking at it, it turned and bolted. So by the time Nick and I got out of his vehicle, it was gone.
Yeah, they had. I don't know if you listened to. I don't know if you ever watched his show. Steve, Facts About Hunting. He's on YouTube. You ever listen to the show?
I watched quite a few of his.
He's got a guy that comes on that I guess worked. He worked for the government, older gentleman, and he's been sending him emails, and he actually worked on Sasquatch and these dogmen, and he's been disclosing all the stuff to him about what they are. And he made a comment the other day about the dogman, and he says these things, and it's funny because everybody's coming out and saying this now, but this older gentleman came out and said these things are genetically made by the government.
I don't agree with that.
Because
it's like, the earliest sightings of dogmen in North America, other than the Native American sightings, were French trappers that saw them in the late 1600s in the Tennessee Valley.
Right.
So there was no one on the planet had genetic technology back then.
And there's not even that. What was it? Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett actually had an account, didn't they? So
Christopher Columbus reported seeing dog-headed men on his journeys. So did Marco Polo. So,
I might be wrong about the account. I might be wrong, people. I don't know. I didn't watch it that great. But, I mean, that's what he said.
It's a case where the government has experimented on them to try to use them like soldiers.
Right.
I don't think they create.
No.
But that's just me. I mean, again, there are no experts in this, so.
Not even that. They did in World War II. But World War II, the Germans were experimenting, making super soldiers, So, I mean, the same German scientists were brought over here to work on the NASA programs and everything else with vaccines and stuff. So, come on. Our government is not that what people think they are. Oh, they're so nice and easy now.
Well, the Russians were doing experiments, too. They were trying to combine, ape and chimpanzee DNA with humans to try to create a hyper strengthened soldiers.
And then they had specimens, didn't they, Steve? Somebody contested to it.
They had from what I understand, there were a couple that survived at least for a period of time.
Right.
I think it boiled down to a situation where just the DNA wasn't that compatible, so they didn't get what they wanted, but they had something that lived for a certain period of time anyway.
That's crazy. That's nuts. You think about it. Half ape, half man. I mean, even though what they're 98% close to our DNA. So I mean, still, the nucleus. What did they say? The nucleus would not let a female or a male reproduce because of the nucleus or something. The what?
We're not close enough genetically.
Right. Right.
Close. What do they say? Close but no cigar.
Right.
Well, the chromosome number's not the same, and
right. Well, you know about that, Steve. You're in the medical field. I have nothing to do with that. So,
okay. It when people talk about genetic similarity, we're like what 96, 98, whatever it is percent, similar to a chimp, but we're still better than 90% similar to a banana. There's a big stretch there.
Right.
A lot of weird genetic similarities.
Right.
Right.
And then you've got things like octopi, which don't even seem to belong on this planet.
Yeah.
Right. Right. That's true. Very true.
George Jennings says, I think Uncle Sam knows a lot more about Dogman than they say. I think they know a lot more about Dogman, Bigfoot, and a lot of other things. That
government knows a lot of stuff that's going on.
Yeah. We will probably never, ever be told the absolute truth. Just how it is.
I'm shocked they even came out with the UFO, starting to come out with UFO. They admitted to it.
I get national security. I totally get that. I had a security clearance when I was in the Army. I totally understand that. But some things I think people deserve to know.
Yeah, but I think you see how everybody took it when the government finally admitted it?
Yeah.
You didn't hear what happened. Nothing. They're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, we knew about it. Yeah, but thanks for...
Yeah, it didn't even make front page of the newspaper. It was just kind of back-shoved.
Right. I think that's what the government wanted to see, how people were going to react to what they were going to say about it. So, and it didn't... Nobody went into a mass hysteria, War of the World type of deal where everybody was running and jumping off of buildings and stuff, so... What was that story? H.G. Wells? Is that the one that that he announced it was on the radio and people were killing themselves back in the 50s? It was. So
there was the people who tuned in halfway through the broadcast thought it was an actual news article.
Right.
I just sent you a message, Steve.
Yeah. Have you got one for me? Sure.
All right, sending it right now. And it's a creepy one. I think you're going to like it.
All right. Let's see here. Take me just a second. I don't have the luxury of a second screen here, so I'm using a tablet for one. So bear with me here. So this one comes from Pulaski County. I'm assuming it's Pulaski County, Missouri.
Yeah, it's up near Fort Leonard Wood.
Yeah, I was going to say that's in right around...
Waynesville, St. Robert.
Yeah, my son went to
between Waynesville and Rolla.
I used to deer hunt in Pulaski County.
Yeah. Well, it's some pretty woolly country there. So this is a report of a 6-foot-tall dogman or skinwalker. It was shot. They described it as a 6-foot wolf walking at its hind legs. The rider fired his weapon in the air and it turned to the southeast into the woods. We cautiously made our way back to camp, but we could hear this thing pacing us to our left. That's a scary thought. As we got back to camp, we kept listening to this thing approaching us from the woods. Mike turned on the spotlight, and I leveled my gun wherever the sound was coming from. It was approaching us without fear, and it felt to both of us like it was stalking us. As it was one of our juvies that Mike had witnessed, it came out from between the trees, and I shot it square in the ribs at about 20 yards. We measured the next day, and I am a very good shot. I saw the wound, and I knew without a doubt that I hit it. It fell to the ground, but immediately got up and ran to the southeast. We could hear it crashing through the brush, and we even heard it fall or trip over something, but it continued to head in pretty much a southerly direction, down the hill, paralleling the fire break. We're both freaked out at this time and broke camp and left. The next morning, I loaded up a few extra clips, and we went back to see if it died somewhere close or was just wounded, so we felt we had to track it down. We did track it from the point of where I shot it all the way down the canyon, even found where it made such a ruckus when it fell. The leaf litter was all upended and it was easy to track. At one point, we did find a perfect canine track in a mud ridge, but it was over 8 inches across.
Wow.
That's
like dinner plate size.
I was going to say, That's an ashtray, easy.
No kidding.
But then it was over 8 inches across. The thing that absolutely baffled both of us was that there was no blood trail, none. We both saw the bullet hit, yet no blood. We tracked it all the way down the canyon until we lost the trail. We talked to a Native American couple we know, and they immediately said skinwalker. I'm not sure if that's better or worse than Dogman.
Either one's bad. God, I can't tell you the number of times I've camped up in Pulaski County. I've heard weird crap in the woods lots of times, but we just attribute it to some animal moving by. We've had things, walk near our camp. We've had things approach our camp, but never anything I could say, oh, it was a Bigfoot or it was a Dogman, because we never saw anything.
Right.
But then again, there was 8-9 guys sitting around the camp with deer rifles too. So it was probably like, oh, these guys are armed.
Yeah.
Hey, look at the time. It's time I was somewhere else.
It's like that the term they use in the Alien versus Predator stories. The predators refer to the xenomorphs as hard meat. In other words, they have to struggle to get it.
Considering the xenomorphs have acidic blood, I don't know that I'd want to eat it.
Yeah, they got that new movie coming out too. Prey.
Yeah, I would consider a 300-pound redneck with a deer rifle that'd be hard meat as well.
Yes, that would be extra tough. Anthony, do you want one?
No, I'll pass.
All right.
I'll pass. That new Predator movie's coming out, Steve.
I want to see it.
It's called Prey. It's going to be on Hulu only.
It's set like back in
Indian.
Native American.
Yeah, the one of the Native
American girl. That's going to be cool.
It looks pretty good, though.
I've read a lot of those books. We were talking about Jonathan Mayberry earlier. He wrote an AVP book not too long ago, and it was a good read. It was a very, very neat. Definitely kind of put you inside the head of the Yaucha, the predator culture.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, Northwoods.
Yeah.
He says, unless I'm in a vehicle that has some kind of armor, I doubt I'm going to be going camping anywhere around here.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Big old bear claw.
Well, I guess I will jump into the next encounter story. This says it's in the top northwest corner of Missouri, which that's up near Iowa and Nebraska. That's a lot of cornfields up there. Not as much woods up that way. It's more farms and cornfields.
Yeah, I think St. Joseph, Missouri would probably be the closest.
St. Joe, or it'd definitely be north of Kansas City.
Yeah.
I'm not sure any of the towns that are up that way, but it'd be up near. If it's in the top northwest corner, it'd be up near the border of Iowa and Nebraska. Mm-hmm. It says a strange, large, quote unquote, dog being weird and stalky. This happened in 2010. It says, okay, this one's written story form, so. If it sounds melodramatic, don't. This was not me. I didn't write this. So I think if I was doing a Dogman account, I don't think I would write it like a weird story. So this one might just be pure fiction, since it's written like a Mickey Spillane novel.
Oh, is that what it's like?
I almost wish Anthony was reading this one because he's got the perfect Mickey Spillane voice. It was a dark and stormy night. Okay, again, bear with me because although I've read this one before, I didn't really want to sound it out. It's written story form, so it kind of gives me a little pause about whether or not it's actually just a story. So I'll let you guys judge. Again, as with all of these stories, you guys be the judge whether or not you think it's real or not. This one I'm kind of lean toward a work of fiction since the way it's written, but I could be totally wrong. So I'll read it and let you guys can let me know what you think. It says, the red butt of a lit cigarette flared in the night as Travis White took a drag standing outside the Maryville, Missouri home at 3 a.m. in August of 2010. Streetlights cast a yellow glow over the residential neighborhood, the air crisp from the recent rain. As he stood near the back door, smoke rolling from his mouth, something moved in the yard. Out of my periphery, I thought it was a dog, White said. A really big dog, but when I looked at it straight on, I was scared. The dog, White said, was about as long as a horse. It loped across the lawn, and White got a good look at it. The dog thing was tan, its tail long and bushy with a white tip. Its eyes glowed green. It stopped next to a neighbor's fence, staring at White the entire time with those green glowing eyes. It stared at me until I finished my cigarette and went inside, said White. About 3 to 5 minutes, just long enough to smoke a cigarette. I was a little freaked out. The dog slunk off between two houses, and White went inside. White took his father outside to look for tracks the next day, but they found nothing. However, when White stood where the dog stopped at the fence, his heart jumped. The dog would have stood at the middle of White's chest. He's 6'2". That wasn't the last time White saw that dog. Dad calls it Wolf Boy, White said. We joke around about it being a werewolf. A few weeks later, White parked his car on the street behind the house after work around 3 a.m. He sat inside the car smoking cigarettes when he saw eyes staring at him through the darkness. The street light back there flickers, he said. I was sitting in the car smoking a cigarette. I saw those green eyes. When the street light flicked on, I saw the Wolf Boy. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me because of the green glow, White said. But it was the dog. It was lying down just staring at me. Each time the street light flickered, the Wolf Boy inched closer. It was freaky, as close as the dog was when the light flickered back on, he said. I wanted to go inside. It was just one of those, I need to go inside. I just ran.
Huh.
I don't know if I was sitting on my back porch, and granted I don't smoke, but I was sitting on my back porch, and at the back of the yard was an 8-foot long dog. I think I would just put the cigarette down and take my ass inside.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have sat there for three or 4 minutes watching it.
Yeah, check out if you were smoking the right cigarette.
I used to smoke, and I would probably gasp and inhale the damn thing.
One long ash.
Like aspirated buttonol. Either that or it would be like the Roy Scheider and Jaws thing where it just kind of hangs there and falls out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, yeah.
I don't know if that was the investigator from the NADP that wrote it like that, or if it was the actual person who had the account. I kind of think that was written that way by the person who took the account, but I think they kind of went a little overboard, over dramatizing it. I just would have. It's like writing when you take an account, you write it like a report, like you do as a cop. Who, what, where, when, and how. Yeah. You take on the details, you write it down. You don't try to sell it as a story, which is what I do in my books. But my books are intended to be works of fiction to entertain. Right. When I take an account, it's who, what, where, when, how, what happened, what time. Steve Garza says probably wasn't a regular cigarette.
Yeah.
Fred Atchison says I don't go outside at night without a 12 gauge pump with triple hot buck. So what do you guys think of that one? What do you think that one was dramatized, or was it made up?
I don't know if it was legit. That is, 8 feet laying down. That is huge.
That's a monster dog.
Hell of a lot bigger. That's like Will Gray Eagle kind of shit right there.
Jesus. Yeah, if it stood up on its hind legs, it'd be 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't get it. I mean,
there ain't no cigarette worth
there's
that.
No like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Nope.
I would have looked out, seen it, and went like, whoa.
It would have been more of a, you light it up like, nope.
Yeah.
That is a nope moment. Yeah, I don't know that I would have sat out there for 3 to 4 minutes watching it. Either the story's made up or that guy's got basketballs.
Yeah, it's just
AJ Congdon says fiction. I'm kind of with you on that one, AJ. That's what I'm leaning towards. Now it was taken by a NADP investigator, so
I don't know.
Wasn't there? I can't say how the witness wasn't themselves, but the fact that they wrote it in kind of a weird, like, film noir story style. It was a dark and stormy night. I was smoking my third cigarette when this beast emerged from the darkness. Yeah, I kind of think that one might be just a little bit dramatized, but I don't know. I didn't take the account, and I didn't talk to the witness, so.
Oh, well.
David By says, DA, do those buckshot slug rounds really exist like Wiley prefers? Yeah, they're called buck and ball rounds.
Yeah.
Several companies make them, but the one widely uses are Winchester Supreme Elites, and they are legit, real rounds. In fact, I'm got a couple of boxes of them on order for my KSG. So, yeah, they are legit real rounds, and they will punch a fist-sized hole in a door. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, you can also, they had the shredders. I got some shredders too. The door shredders, for the locks.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different types of shotgun rounds, specialty rounds. There are flechette rounds, which will punch through body armor. Yeah. There's fragmentation rounds that what they call frangible rounds. Mm-hmm. What Anthony's talking about, they use those as door breachers. You can just put the shotgun barrel right up against the lock and just destroy it, because it's just all it is compressed powder. When it hits, it puts all of its kinetic force right there.
No, they got the other ones that have the triangles. Mm-hmm. Tiny steel triangles in it.
My grandfather used to load his own 12-gauge rounds. He called them his prowler rounds. For anybody that was messing around with the livestock, they were 3-inch magnums loaded with rock salt and bacon fat.
Ooh.
Yeah. Why bacon fat?
Makes the rock salt stick together.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that thing's coming at you like a wad. Ooh.
Yeah, you've got a chunk of rock salt under your skin.
Oh, if it doesn't kill you, you die of atherosclerosis.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I know that burns. Rock salt burns like crazy. I can tell you that.
David Bice says, I thought the flechettes were illegal. In some states, they are.
Yeah.
I would say, New York, California, Illinois, it's a given. But I'm pretty sure they're legal in Missouri because I've shot a few of them.
Definitely New York and California.
Yeah, Dragon's Breath rounds are another real round. They're loaded with phosphorus and some other chemicals. You can shoot a cone of fire I think it's like 50 yards.
No, they got the other ones that shoot the M80s out of them like a mortar. They shoot.
Tochi the Wolf says rock salt and bacon fat sounds like a mix to use for a cryptid. Yeah, I would not want to be on the receiving end of that because it wouldn't kill you, but it would burn. I mean, you'd feel like you were on fire.
What did he say? Was rock salt? Okay. This
story reminds me of the two dogmen smoking cigars and wearing trench coats on Skinwalker. You see a dogman with a trench coat. Hey, buddy, want to buy a watch? It's yours, but I'll sell it to you.
Who used to load their own 12-gauge back in, it was in the 1800s? One of the cowboys, used to load it with pennies and dimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was fairly common.
I forget the guy's name, but that was his calling card. He would load it with a bunch of change. So
that's nasty. Mm-hmm. I can tell you one thing though. A 410 shotgun, a 45 caliber pistol round. Well, not the automatic. The 45 long Colt will slide right into that.
Oh yeah. Well, you could shoot it out of it. Mm-hmm. It's actually it's what they when you buy one
rifled of those. It's not a rifled barrel and it won't go as far.
No,
but it will shoot out of it.
Like they have those judges, the Taurus judges, and they'll shoot a 45 long Colt and a 410. I
want one of those.
So
they kind of remind me of the old Civil War Lamat revolvers.
Yeah. I think that's where they got the idea from.
Yeah,
you can get buckshot for a 410. And you imagine a buckshot coming out of that handgun? Well,
you're gonna have wrists like King Kong to shoot buckshot out of that.
That's crazy, though.
Even a 410.
Mm-hmm.
No thanks.
Yeah, they do it. It's like crazy. It's nuts. I can't. What do you say, D? I've seen it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they do have the Derringers. Yeah, the Derringers are there. I actually shot one that was a 45 long Colt 410 Derringer. And let me tell you, you got to hold on to it with dear life because that thing will jump out of your hand like a hot pocket. It's crazy.
My favorite gun store sometimes has some interesting, like one of a kind or kind of rare pieces, and they had a 45 long Colt pepper box. And it had four barrels in it.
That's nasty.
Like Yeah, it's only like a 2-inch barrel, but at short range, it's gonna suck.
I'll never forget, I used to work for Taurus down in Miami when I lived in South Florida. And I was
Taurus
head of,
makes a good handgun.
yeah, I was head of technical law enforcement and military technical support. They had, when they came out with the 454 Kazoo, let me tell you, man, I shot this thing, and it was in a 8-inch barrel. It was in our range that we had down in the warehouse. And I held on to this thing with 2 hands. You want to talk rattle?
Ooh.
I
bet it shook your fillings out of your teeth.
I never had my wrists were black and blue. I had 2 black. My right hand wrist was black and blue. The way when they first came out with it, I'm like, man, it can't be that bad. And then we came out with a 4-inch for backpackers for grizzly bears, and I shot this thing down at the range, a 4-inch. I shot one time. I put the gun down. I'm like, you guys are nuts. I said.
I was running a qualifier one time when I was still a cop, and one of the guys brought his own personal weapon out there because if you carried an off-duty weapon, you had to qualify with it. Right. So he brought this Desert Eagle 50 out there, and my lieutenant's like, "That's badass, but you're not carrying it." he let me shoot it, and holy crap!
Yeah.
Jeez, that thing had some recoil.
There was
I just gotten off the line with my 9mm, and I was used to that.
Yeah.
I shot that thing. I went wham! Yeah. Holy crap! He's like, "I can finish the magazine if you want." I'm like, "No, thanks."
No.
I'm good.
I was on a range down in Busick with my buddy, and I was shooting my 45, and just plug it away with it, and in the lane next to us, as I was just rounding up the magazine I was shooting, we hear this kaboom. My buddy looks at me and goes, "Is that a 44? I'm like, "My ass it is." And I looked over, and this little dude looks like Wilford Brimley. Fired it, and you could see like the shockwave when a round went off. Right. I'm like, I want to see what that is. And of course, we waited for him to finish. And I walk over there, and he's got a Smith & Wesson 500. I
was about to say that.
5-inch barrel on it. And he was wearing like these, almost like a biker glove, with the fingers sticking out,
Wrist support, like a bowling glove with that piece of metal in it.
Like a bowling glove, yeah. And so he's showing it to me, and he's loading up. It's got 5 chambers in it. He goes, "You want to shoot it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Go ahead and squeeze this magazine off." And I fired the first round, and I could feel every disc in my spine shift. And when I fired the second one,
you go to the range and get a chiropractic adjustment.
When I fired the second one, it actually hurt, and I handed it back to him. I said, "Thanks."
Yeah, I shot one too, Steve. I know exactly where I shot a 500. I know exactly what you're talking about, man.
Oh my god, I had earplugs with muffs over the top of it, and it still sounded like I was in a cannon.
Yeah,
yeah.
People don't realize the kinetic energy coming out of that handgun.
Oh yeah.
With that big of a round in a handgun.
Oh yeah,
it's like it's not going to hurt you. Yeah, it will if you're not holding it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what is it?
It was rough.
What is it? Those nitros with the 500 nitro elephant guns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, you got to be. I mean, I'm all about guns and I love my guns and stuff, but what's the purpose of having a 500 nitro elephant rifle when you can't even? What are you going to shoot here in the United States with it? Really? I mean,
no. It's like if they have a pistol season on Grizzly.
Yeah. I want a quick thank you to Tammy Lamb for the super sticker. Thank you very much. You are awesome.
Oh.
Hey, Tombstone's in the house. Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, ready for the next story?
Let's jump into it.
Alrighty. So this one's from northern Missouri. It was a dogman eating roadkill near a cemetery in 2000. And it says, as we were leaving, we're in the middle of the hills and we saw a very large dog on the road, Straub said. The grayish-brown beast was at least 250 pounds and feeding off a roadkill. It didn't move as the truck headlights flooded over it and the vehicle creaked to a stop. Sorry, my dog's whining in the background. That's the Dogman theme to go with it.
There you go.
As the stench of wet dog crept into the truck, the men realized they'd encountered something they shouldn't have seen. The beast stood on its hind legs, rising to more than 6 feet tall, and looked at them with yellow-orange eyes. After a few uncomfortable minutes, the creature turned and calmly walked into the trees. I wouldn't call it a dog, Taylor said. And that's what we thought it was at first. However, it is standing up on its two back legs and walking off the road casually, in the belief that it was a dog for me.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of accounts of them being seen on roads eating roadkill. I mean, if they're opportunistic feeders, roadkill is a perfect opportunity, especially a roadkill deer. That's a lot of meat.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny that the things are crouched down. Presumably they're taking their mouth directly to the food, and then they just stand up and casually walk off.
Like Harley when he picks up a toy.
Yeah.
We have was there a Bigfoot conference in Tennessee this weekend?
Yeah, I didn't get to go. I wanted to go to that one, but I didn't get a table in time.
Yeah, Maria just sent me some photos from it.
Yeah, Cam Buckner was going to be there. I was wanting to meet him there, but I just didn't get a chance to get a table. It was one of those things where finances were kind of in the way.
I hear you, man. Trust me. Yeah, because they were all there. I guess Mark and Carrie Arnold and all them. She had met up with them.
Yeah, Naomi was going to be there too.
Yeah, they were all there. And Dr. Meldrum was there too. He was there.
Yeah, I really wanted to be there, but I didn't get to go.
There'll be other times. There'll be other times.
M&M from M says there's a Dogman conference in Paris next month. In Paris, Tennessee. I'll be at that one.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll be there too. The way things are
awesome,
looking. Hopefully, things will work out. Me and John will be there. So I want
that would be awesome.
I want to get up that way. If everything falls into place, like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Steve doesn't know. I'll tell him after the show. So I'll be up there, no doubt.
Okay, this next encounter is the last one of the ones I have from Missouri, from the NADP. I'm going to get more of the ones from the NADP for the Midwest area, and I might even just start profiling some of them, because I want to do a show like this once in a while, just kind of throw one in without a guest, where we just read accounts and talk about them and discuss what we think about the account and the different settings and behaviors that talk about in the accounts. So look for us doing a few more shows like this in the not so distant future. Hang on a second. I was burning. This one comes from 2016. They describe a dogman / kangaroo looking thing. So that would be interesting. Kangaroo. We were driving on a blacktop road when this very strange creature ran across the road in front of us. It ran kind of funny, like a lazy loping movement, and that's how the one I saw moved. It kind of a weird lope to it. She says the animal was running on 4 legs, but that it reminded her of a skinny kangaroo. She described its body as hairless, featuring a gray skin, dog-like in appearance with notably longer hind legs. It had large ears and sharply pointed snout, long, thick tail like a kangaroo. Miller added that she has seen a lot of coyotes before, and that the animal they saw back in 2013 didn't look anything like one of the canids. This was completely different in shape. It was like it reminded me a lot of a skinny kangaroo running on all 4s, but there's no way there would be a hairless kangaroo running around in southern Missouri. That kind of sounds like those pictures that they posted from that lady that caught what they thought it was a Chupacabra in Texas. Its hind legs were longer than the front legs, and it was hairless.
Yeah, what was that? Did they say what it even was when they
said it was some sort of? Yeah, they did DNA testing, and the DNA testing came back and said it was a hybrid between a Mexican red wolf and a coyote, but it didn't have the mange. They don't understand why it had no hair.
It was gray and hairless.
It was gray as hell with blue eyes, like dark, deep blue eyes. I know that.
I wonder if that might be the case, if that's what they saw.
I don't know.
In the case, if that's the fact, it wouldn't be a dog man. It would be, well, what they were calling a Chupacabra in Texas. Let me see if I can find a picture of that, and I'll pull it up.
Yeah, that was a crazy. The lady found it. She brought it to a veterinarian. It was a woman rancher that did it. I watched the thing on it.
Yep, and she kept it. She had the head.
Oh, then she get it stuffed. It's in her house, isn't it stuffed?
Yeah, wasn't it like Ken Gerhardt or that came out and studied that?
Yeah, I think so.
Or
Yeah.
Gerhardt or the I mean his name escapes me. The other guy that wears a similar hat.
Lyle Blackburn.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she brought it to a veterinarian, and they did the DNA testing, but I didn't know what it was, and then she had it stuffed. She actually has it in her living room, I think.
Yeah, let me find that picture real quick, and I'll post it. And then I've got something else to add to that, which is kind of wild. Let me see if I can find that picture of that.
But from my understanding was that is not the only one that they've killed like that.
Right. In fact, there's a picture here where they got one in a cage.
Yeah,
that they caught one alive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that exact picture of
and they said it wasn't a raccoon, it wasn't a possum, the one in the cage, because it had no hair on it. I seen the video on that. It was pretty freaky.
Here's a picture. Let me save the image real quick. Save image as. Why is it not saving?
Steve Grouser
There
said
we go.
two different ones. He says that they made a comment both of those were two different animals.
Let me bring this image up.
Could be. I didn't see.
And while I was Googling the image, I ran across something else. You can look at this. The body, the back legs look longer than the front legs. Of course, it's mostly
that looks
hairless.
like a coyote with a mange.
It does. But here's the weird thing. While I was Googling that, here is a article from Leader Publications here in Missouri. Do you know got any idea where DeSoto, Missouri is?
Yeah. It's in Jefferson County. It's between St. Louis and Farmington.
Chupacabra ? Spooky creature or mangy coyote found in DeSoto. John and Robin Weidman of rural DeSoto came across a creature on their farm that they describe as weird, and they wonder if the oddly shaped animal might be a mysterious chupacabra. And it's a similar picture to that, only that's actually on its hind legs. No, it's not its hind legs. It's actually on its legs. It's alive, and it looks just almost identical to the picture I just brought up. It says the Missouri Department of Conservation agent they spoke with said the creature was surely a mangy coyote, and she wasn't interested in seeing or testing the animal. So at the direction of the Missouri Conservation Department on Wednesday, October 3rd, John Weidman killed and burned the creature's body. Before that happened, he posted a photo on Facebook. Friends quickly posted that the animal looked like the online photos of a mythical chupacabra. In Bigfoot-like lore, chupacabra allegedly attack and suck the blood from animals, especially goats. Stories and descriptions vary widely, but the most common description for the North American chupacabra looked very much like the animal found on the DeSoto farm. And it does. It looks just like it. Experts have said the sightings across the country are of emaciated coyotes with mange, but the lore continues, and that it's actually a mysterious new breed. I'm not too big on mythical creatures, John Weidman said. I was leaning toward coyote, but if it was bald from mange, you would recognize it as a coyote. I've never seen anything like it. Robin Weidman said the mystery doesn't stop with the animal's unusual appearance. I'm an animal person and have lived on a farm most of my life, she said. I've never seen anything like it. I felt sorry for it, but it was eerie. It made the hair on my arms stand up. She said deer would have been common visitors to their farm for years. Then all of a sudden they just stopped showing up. Then after John shot this thing, we saw 4 deer this morning. I don't know. It's just weird. Adding to the mystery, photos of the fire show an eerie skull shape floating in the flames, Robin Weidman said. For more details about Weidman's adventure, see the October 11th leader of the DeSoto leader. And let me pull that up. What I will do is I will just share the screen, and you guys can look directly at the picture that's in the article. I got to get rid of that picture first. There we go. Yeah, I know it's small, but
it looks the same.
Yeah, and it looks just like those ones found down in Texas.
Yeah,
and you can see how its butt's kind of higher than its front legs.
Yeah,
its back legs are longer. It's almost identical to the ones they found down in Texas.
That's crazy. That's weird.
So I don't think that was a Dogman at all, or a Dogman kangaroo. I think what she saw was one of these things like they have down in Texas, they refer to as a chupacabra. What do you guys think?
I think
I'm
so.
right with you. It doesn't fit the description. Although
Not
when
of a
we were
dog
talking
man.
about an odd looking kangaroo, I had a scary thought about our friend from Australia, would ever run across something like a wereroo or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would be
Bama Bigfoot says, I have a video of one. We call them blue dogs. They're just kind of,
Really?
and the one down in Texas was genetically tested, like it said, to be a mixture of a coyote and a Mexican red wolf. But it's still weird that they have no fur.
Yeah, that's a little bit crazy. That is. I mean, well, even the accounts in South America of the Chupacabra, they look more reptilian.
Right, and the ones they saw in Puerto Rico were more reptilian.
Right.
That's an island.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, how do you get from that to a wolf or a dog type of creature? How do you get from a reptilian look? And supposedly the reptilian creature walks on two legs. That does this, the Chupacabra from South America.
And they have accounts of them attacking people.
Right. So, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it's just a genetic dog, interbreeding that people are seeing. You know how people's imagination run wild, so it could be. It very well could be.
Steve, I'm sending you another one.
Well, even what was it? The oh God, what was that thing that they found in the Congo or Brazil? I think it was Brazil, the Amazon. That one, I think it was a shark that was supposed to be extinct.
Yeah, I remember about that. And then, of course, there's the what they call the maned wolf that's in South America. It looks like a wolf, but its legs are like super gangly, too long.
Oh, same thing with the Mexican silver grizzly.
Mm-hmm.
There's farmers that the ranchers are accounting that this thing still is around. That was supposed to be extinct since over 100 years ago.
Yeah,
those maned wolves are cool. They're not in the fox family. They're not in the wolf family. They're not in the dog family. They're further up the
evolutionary scale.
The evolutionary scale, yeah.
And their legs are too long for their body. They look all gangly.
Like dire wolves,
Yeah.
They're not wolves at all. They're more related to a fox.
Mm-hmm. Before we go to the next account that Steve's going to read, from this point on, these are all accounts that were sent to me by Josh Nanocchio from What Lurks Beneath. These stories are going to be in his upcoming book. He just sent me a selection of some from that he thought would strike my interest. But that book is going to be out probably this fall. And it's going to be pretty awesome. And it's going to be a collection of accounts, and I can't wait to get a copy of it. But he sent me a few and told me, 100% I'm free to use them here on the show and on my blog. So from this point on, all the accounts we read are a courtesy of Josh Nanocchio over at What Lurks Beneath.
All righty. So this one is a Dogman encounter from Prairie Du Chien State Park in 2004. I was hunting deer and witnessed a pack of 12 to 13 large wolf-type dogs driving the deer off a small cliff. I'm certain these were not wolves, but rather dogmen. The entire pack seemed to be of one mind, working together as a pack. I was able to observe these creatures quite closely. It was almost within shooting range of the deer, but something caused me to hold fire. I am a Marine and I've been to war. I know what fear is, and these creatures emitted an aura of pure evil, and I knew they were not to be trifled with. I observed the pack for a few hours in the distance. I didn't want to go any closer for fear of being seen. I also noticed that there was a larger, older creature with the pack. I'm certain this was the alpha male. This creature did not seem as aggressive and was the only one not emitting an aura of pure evil. I will never forget these creatures. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
And, you've got a Marine, a trained rifleman who doesn't know what's at the other end of his
scope. Yeah, I'm not shooting at that.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to take a shot at one if there was a pack, because I don't think you could get them all before they could get to you, no matter how far away you were. Especially if there's any kind of cover or concealment.
Well, if you're hunting deer, you're probably limited to a 5-round magazine, maybe.
Yeah. When you're hunting deer, 5 rounds.
I mean, it depends on the state, I guess, but I mean, I wouldn't want to be caught reloading.
Oh no, definitely not.
No.
Can
No,
you
no,
imagine
no.
like like an old Winchester, rifle, like put everything
Yeah.
in the tube?
A trap
Get a
door. Trap door
bad
rifle.
case
You
of
can do
M1
that.
Grand Thumb.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. That's the
Well,
truth.
unfortunately, I'm out of coffee. But, however,
Uh-oh.
I
Well,
keep
Nona Boss is on.
just such emergencies.
Nona Boss is on
Emergency
there.
coffee, huh?
Nona says, hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hi, Marty.
I thought
So she says, unless you had Kodiak's minigun.
Yeah, at
She
first I
says,
thought that you were
yeah.
reaching for your auxiliary reserve scotch, but
What did you
No, I've
pull
got more
out?
coffee.
What did you pull out, DA?
Another cup of coffee.
Oh, I was like, what the
This
hell? Oh,
one-
okay.
This was actually made for me by a friend's wife. It's got a state of Missouri with the blue line.
Oh,
It
nice.
has my radio numbers from my old apartment,
Yeah,
1405 and 409.
there you go. She just finished a 3-hour show. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
I didn't even get to watch it. I'll watch it tonight when we get off.
I'll try to catch it too.
see, I'm with George Jennings on this. He said that he'll stick with his AK-47.
Yeah.
You know, for those who say you never need a 15-round magazine, clearly you never encountered Dogman.
Northwood says I'll have to catch the rest of this tomorrow. Have a good night. Good night, brother. Be safe.
Good night, man.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, that's a big. We're not even going to get into that controversy about what they're doing right now. I'm not even going to get into that.
I'm just shit disturbing. I apologize.
I know that thing annoys the hell out of me. You know what's going on with Congress and all that with the weapon. Please,
Yeah.
I just can't.
Nona, if you want to post the link to your channel in the chat, that would be awesome, so everybody can head over and like and subscribe.
Yeah, you got to build her channel up. Got to get
Definitely.
it going.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump into the next encounter. Again, these are all of these from this point on, from the one Steve read on, are courtesy of Josh Nanocchio from What Lurks Beneath. Josh is an awesome dude. It says, I saw a Dogman back in the early 90s. It was in the early morning hours around 4 a.m. I was driving on a back road in West Virginia, and I saw something running alongside my car. I didn't know what it was at first, but as I slowed down to see if there were deer in the road or something else that may have caused me to hit my brakes, this thing ran up alongside my car. It was huge. It was twice the size of a normal man and had huge shoulders that were hunched over. It had long arms that were reaching out and running beside my car. It was all black and it had a huge head. I could see its face, and it was canine. It had a long snout like a German Shepherd, but it was much larger. I could see its teeth, and they were huge. It was a weird thing to see, and I was scared to death. I was only about a mile from my house, and I drove as fast as I could. It followed me all the way to my house, and I pulled into the driveway. And as I pulled into the driveway, it stopped at the edge of my yard. I sat in my car for about half an hour because I was scared to go in the house. I didn't know what it was, and I thought that if I went into the house, then maybe it would come after me. It never came up, but I was afraid that it would. I was young at the time and didn't know what it was. I didn't tell anyone about it because I thought they would think I was crazy. I didn't know that these things existed. I'd never heard of Dogman or anything like that until I saw your show the other night. I didn't know that there were other people out there who had seen these things. I never told my wife about it because she would think I was crazy. Mine thinks I'm crazy most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
I've never told anyone about it until now. I'm not sure what it was, but I do know that the creature looked like a huge dog. I know that it was real, and I can't believe that there are other people out there who've seen these things. The creature actually started to come around my house, and I was afraid that it would get inside my house. I was young at the time, and I didn't have a gun or anything like that. Stupid, I know. I was a different person then. Anyway, this thing would start to come around my house all the time. Later, my next door neighbor gave me a couple of chickens. I don't know why he gave me a couple of chickens because I didn't have the coop completed yet. But once that was done, it was great. I had 7 of them. Now you talk about chickens and Dogman sightings. It's not a good thing. I shouldn't have bought chickens after this sighting. I think it was even more of a reason for it to stick around. Anyway, I came out one morning and all my chickens were dead. They were scattered all about the yard, and a couple of them looked like they had their necks torn off. They were all ripped apart. I couldn't believe it, and I didn't know what to think. It was obvious that something had killed them. I was afraid to go in the woods behind my house because I thought that it would come after me. I knew this thing was behind it all. One evening, I was sitting out on my porch and I heard a noise in the woods. It was like something large. I could hear it walking around in the woods, and I heard it break a tree. I could hear it snapping limbs, and I knew that it was whatever it was big. It sounded like a large man walking around in the woods. I was scared to death, and then it came out of the woods. It was huge, and it looked like a huge dog. It walked out of the woods and looked at me with the most sinister expression I've ever seen. It almost kind of smiled. It was like, ha ha, there's nothing you can do about me being here. It was as if it relished in the very fact that I was powerless against it. It blew me off and went back the direction it was going. The second encounter was like it was just letting me know who's in charge, and it wanted to terrify me, which it did a good job of. And it was at this point I began having these severe hallucinations at home and even at work. I began emotionally breaking down for no reason. I feel like whatever this thing was affected me psychologically. It imprinted itself onto me like a demented handler. This went on for months with it coming around my property. I wouldn't see it, but I knew it was there. I could feel its presence. Now fast forward to the early fall time, and my aunt, who's very religious, had come over one evening. Her and I were always close, but hadn't seen each other in a while because she moved 4 hours from me. She just happened to be in the area and wanted to stop by and catch up. I don't know quite how it came to be, but she was reading her Bible out loud, and I began hearing this horrible screaming coming from out back near the tree line. Her and I got up and rushed to the window to see, but we couldn't see anything. The screaming continued on and off all night, and it spooked my aunt pretty bad. She left after a little while because she didn't know what it was. Now here's the weird thing. This thing stopped showing up after that. I have no idea why, or if my aunt reading out of the Bible had any part to play in this at all. Part of me believes that whatever being or creature this was had very bad intentions. I would go as far as to saying it was demonic. That's kind of terrifying.
See, that has almost the Skinwalker vibe versus
I was just thinking that.
typical what Delta Mike says as the Wild Hunt would say. Yeah, definitely creepy. Either that or some kind of a Dogman shaman or something like that, maybe.
I would lean towards Skinwalker.
Yeah, creepy.
Especially
stuff.
since it seemed to be like almost taunting him, like it was feeding on his fear.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, that one's pretty terrifying. Especially if it was a Skinwalker.
Yeah.
Because one of the ways the Navajo say to confront a Skinwalker is with strong faith. So, not saying that's absolutely the case there. You know, again, I wasn't there, but it sounds to me like it was something with evil intent.
Yep.
What do you got? How about everybody in the audience? What do you guys think?
Put that in the nope category.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I think Pink Dahlia is right where we are on that. She, said it was demonic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was either demonic or a Skinwalker, which is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
David By says, sounds like a Skinwalker to me. Faith hurts them. Doesn't have to be a specific faith.
No. Yeah, they say that in the accounts and the stories. Every time somebody reads out of the Bible, something crazy happens like that.
Pink Dahlia says, the idea of them making an effort and to know how to scare a human is insane. It's not uncommon in lore around the world of demonic type entities that seem to feed on human fear. What do you guys think about that?
Well,
I mean, demonic stuff, you know me, I don't mess with that.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's a nope category for me. I'll deal with a physical threat all day long, but something like that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Start shape shifting and
Eminem from M says, Eminem from M says that creature is feeding off of fear. I totally agree.
No, I don't do that. Sorry.
Yep.
Steve, I got another one for you.
Alrighty.
Give me a second.
No problem.
You get a long one, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, of course I do. You overestimate my reading capability. All right. So this one, it says, was almost a year ago. It happened in mid to late April of 2019, so it must have been collected in 2020. On my drive home from working a long day, I came across a sharp bend in the road where out of nowhere a deer jumps out in front of my Dodge Ram and I collided with it. I don't know why, but its momentum must have propelled it a certain way because it shot off to the side of the road instead of over my truck. My truck did a little glitch thing. Everything turned off and right back on within a split second, like the car or engine malfunction. The impact was hard and it felt like it damaged my front badly by the impact alone. No, I told myself, quickly pulling over to the pullout right next to me. I jumped out of my truck, eager to see if there really was any damage. I had my nifty little utility flashlight with me, so even in the dead of night, I was able to fully check my truck for any serious markings or damage. And it looked fairly clean. Nothing too bad was done to it. I was very surprised considering the impact itself was immense. After taking a few quick moments to scan my vehicle, I turned to my left, and directly where my headlights were hitting was the doe I just hit. She was a big son of a gun. I must have hit her good because her head looked pretty smashed in, blood oozing out the side of her face and mouth. I was doing a good 50 miles an hour around that curb because I know the roads well, so I guess I got a little lax sometimes when it comes to good driving. I'm looking at this dead doe and trying to take in that I didn't hurt my truck too bad. Before I get back in the truck, I figure it must be a good idea to pop my hood and just double check to make sure everything is okay. Everything looked fine. I'm going to reach up and close the hood, and I feel these dagger-like eyes on me. I felt the strongest feeling I've ever felt of somebody watching me. It didn't feel good. It felt real bad. Like someone was 20 feet behind me coming at me with a knife. Never felt such an immediate fear in my life. I turned around, and keep in mind my headlights are fully illuminating everything in front of me. I see the dead deer still. I hear this growl that has so much bass to it. I freeze and tense up thinking I just angered a huge bear or something. Out of the trees pops this huge wolf-looking face, but uglier. It takes one look at me, then looks down at the dead doe. It looked right back up at me without even breaking a second of eye contact. This huge hairy black arm reaches out below it and grabs the doe by the neck and pulls it back out of the trees with it, never once breaking eye contact. It disappeared altogether. I practically pissed myself. I was so terrified. Without even turning around, I just got back in my truck. The hood did get closed, and I flew out of there so fast. For some reason, my mind goes to the giant man-eating badger-looking thing, but it was very wolf-like. Absolutely huge head. I am talking huge.
That one, that's kind of like your worst nightmare.
Yeah.
You're out of your vehicle. If that thing was close enough to grab the deer, it was close enough to grab him.
Oh, yeah. I picture the thing just kind of, giving him the stink eye, grabbing the deer.
Like, mine.
You could have it, dude. You could have it.
Pink Dahlia had a good comment, but this was about the previous story. She says, I think anything demonic can definitely mess with you, but hearing Dogman stories where there's so often scratch at windows and scare people to death, it just seems like they know what they're doing and enjoy it. I agree. I think they enjoy scaring people.
Yeah, they do.
I know if I ran into one, I don't know that I would be as normally with my normal hard charging self. I would be like, look at the time. Hey, Jay says it sounds like the intro to one of your books, DA.
Yeah.
Although that would have been the case where they would have found the truck still idling at the side of the road.
Yeah, it's some of the stuff these people are encountering is nuts.
Joshi the Wolf, thank you for the free meal. You get to leave.
Yeah.
Big Dolly says that's exactly what I pictured too.
The Wild Hunt shows up later. The thing has run out of gas and the batteries died. Gray Eagle sniffing around.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if I was back when I was still active cop, if I'd have found an abandoned vehicle at the side of the road with blood, because obviously if you hit the deer, there's going to be blood on the bumper, and the vehicle's just sitting there empty, idling.
Oh yeah.
I'd have been like, yeah, can I get a couple more officers out here? 1405 to dispatch, requesting 2 more units, please.
Yeah, SWAT team.
How many do you need? How many you got?
Truth.
Pink Dolly says everyone's tough until they run into a Dogman. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Nope.
Rogue Robot Studios says, that being said, DAX Machina podcast, do you have a list of your books in chronological order of the timeline and the universe? Yes, I do. I will grab that real quick and post the link. It's on my... Yeah, it's funny you should ask. We did just such a thing. on the website. It does need to be updated for the last couple of books, but it kind of give you the area where to start. I'm posting that in the chat now. It's daroberts.net/DA verse timeline, but the link is right there. Check those out. That tell you what order to start them in. My son and I are going to update the website here probably this week, and we've got a couple of books we've got to add to it. So it's accurate for the beginning, but it needs some other books added in, some of the newer ones.
With the exception of Ragnarok Rising, everything you're adding now is chronological behind what's already written, right?
Right. Everything takes place between like Beast of Blanc Road and the Ragnarok series. Of course, the sci-fi is at another timeline, and the fantasy is going to be an offshoot of the timeline. It'll shoehorn in somewhere. But even the sci-fi and fantasy series will connect to the larger DA-verse. Not saying how just yet. Of course, anybody that's read Dark Moon knows how the sci-fi the fantasy universe is going to connect.
Yeah.
That will work.
David By says, I read the teaser for Man's Marauders, and it's awesome. Well, thank you very much, man. Man's Marauders is now over 30,000 words and climbing. I'm hoping... I've broken every finger on both hands, so I can't really cross my fingers too much without forcing them. But you can ask my wife. At one point in my law enforcement career, every finger on both hands has been taped to the other one at some point in my career. So I can't like make a 3 anymore. I can grab that finger, but I can't grab my pinky on either hand.
Can you do the Vulcan hello?
I can do that, but,
there you go.
Like crossing my fingers is kind of a struggle, and I can't grab my pinky.
Now, the Man's Marauders is in the same near universe piece as Lost Legion, right?
Right, and they do connect as well.
Gotcha.
In fact, if you've read the most recent update that I put in the alpha group, you'll see where it starts to connect.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I saw the document, and it's been typical healthcare during the pandemic.
You got to take care of yourself, brother. That always comes first.
Well,
family and health always comes first.
I'm not sure if I need to be bled with leeches or what I need to do at this point to.
No, look at John. John's been dealing with it ever since. What's about a year now? A year and a half. He's been dealing with this. My uncle.
Yep, I managed to contaminate my entire family on Father's Day.
Yeah.
Felt like Dad of the Year. It was great.
Well, I mean, yeah.
When you're sending text messages to your children, like, there's a Walmart bag with test on my porch. Daddy still loves you.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question, Steve. Did you get the shot since you got the shot since you were in healthcare, right?
3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did your wife and the kids get theirs or no?
Yep. They all did.
It just seems to be.
We were very fortunate. We all had really mild cases, but a mild case of suck is still suck.
Well, ever since my uncle got his, and he did get the shot through the VA, ever since he got his, it was nothing but complications, I think. And it's just weird. So,
Pink Dahlia says, DA Tanya Willis totally wants to find a production company to produce your work. That would be awesome. I am 100% on board with that. She says she feels it would be well received and could be well produced. I'd like to see the same production company that did the Terminal List pick it up because the books are high action and I would want the action done correctly.
mm-hmm.
I don't want you got. There's one famous scene from I think it was a movie in the 80s. Oh, it's Beverly Hills Cop where he fires like 40 some rounds out of a Beretta before without ever changing the magazines.
Yeah.
It's details like that kill me, that ruin the movie for me. So I would want somebody that was doing the same level of detail they did for the Terminal List because that was spot on.
Yeah,
you can ask my wife. I tear shows like that apart. If they did something wrong, I'm like, nope, that's wrong. That's wrong. She won't watch police dramas with me because I just tear them up. But she's paused television shows before me and just looked over at me and goes, I hate you. I'm like, why? She goes, because now I know for a fact that somebody getting tased wouldn't get knocked out. I'm like, I told you. You tase somebody, they're not unconscious for like the next 30 minutes.
Well, it's like
Generally, they're right back up and pissed.
I feel the same way when they trank somebody or they use chloroform on them.
Yeah.
You hit somebody with chloroform, they struggle for minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get the dose just right, they dead.
Yeah.
It's even when you watch these movies with the snipers when they're taking these shots with 50 cals and they're hitting a person. I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but a 50 cal actually cuts somebody in half.
Or if you hit them in the shoulder, the arm's going to go flying.
Yeah, it's not one little hole.
It's going to punch big holes in a person.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, look at that size. No, there'd be nothing left of your top half. Sorry.
Adrian Sage says, hi, are you planning on writing another story in conjunction with Cam at Dixie Cryptids? Wild Hunt operationally was fantastic. Great work. Adrian from Australia. Yes, actually, I was supposed to actually call Cam yesterday and forgot to call him. But we do have more in the works. Probably be another Steve Lilly story, and then Cam's going to probably narrate a couple more of my short stories. We've got to get those to him. There's another comment I wanted to... Yeah, David By and I are just like, says I find myself counting rounds when they shoot on shows. I do that all the time. It aggravates my wife. She won't watch military or police dramas with me because I pick them apart.
Oh, the Beverly Hills Cop scene was amazing because if I remember correctly, Axel was on the hood of a car shooting at somebody, and they didn't cut away, and he just kept on going and going and going. So, the edit was weird,
Pink Dolly says, I'd love to watch police shows with you. I'm a true crime too, but always so many questions. Yeah, it just annoys my wife now. I'll like put my finger up. She'll go, shut up. I'm enjoying the show. Don't ruin this for me. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, even Nanobot, she's like, I'm not going into the park. She puts this, I'm not going out to Ocala National Forest without Anthony. She goes like that. When she comes up with Matt, with her son.
Yeah, I think that in your books, DA, that adds a little extra stress. When the Wild Hunt goes up against something and they start running out of ammo.
Yeah.
Very quickly. And then you think about the fact that, a typical infantryman has, 6 to 8 magazines on him, and they go fast when you're shooting at auto.
Yes, they do. Pink Dolly says, I love Dixie Cryptids. DA, are you guys affiliated? I don't know if you would say affiliated. Cam has narrated several of my short stories. He's also the narrator for my Codename Wild Hunt series on audio. He's got one done, and hopefully he'll have the other one done here shortly, then on to the third one. But yeah, more like he's just a friend of mine, and I've done short stories for him, and he's been a guest on the show a few times. So it's not like we're affiliated, but, just a good friend.
They're friends of the network.
Yeah.
Hey, Rogue Robot's got a question here for you there, DA.
Shoot. At DA Xbox podcast, do the 3 series, Apex Predator, Lake Viewman, and Wild Hunt, bleed into each other, or are they separate in a universe with no crossover? All of my books interconnect. Even the zombie series at some point connects. There are crossover characters. There are things that happen in other series that directly affect the other series. If you look at the timeline on my website, that is the best order to read the books in, because what I wanted to do when I started out being a writer, and this is, I know it's a lofty goal, and it's made the work a lot harder for me, but at the same time, it's what I wanted. It's the way I wanted it to do. It's like when you read the J.R.R. Tolkien books. If you read from The Hobbit all the way through to the end of Lord of the Rings, it's not just individual stories. Well, they are individual stories, and they can be read separately. But when you read all of them, it paints a much bigger picture. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted an all-encompassing universe. I wanted everything to tie in, and the histories and the characters. To me, it just makes a much richer experience. When you've got that much of a universe and all these characters bleed over and show up in other books, it just gives you a much bigger picture of who these characters are, and really lets you kind of experience their growth as characters.
Well, that, and I mean, anybody who has gotten involved with, like the Marvel universe or DC's multiverse or whatever, it gives you opportunity for Easter eggs. Of course, I started off reading.
Might be 1 or 2 of those in there.
I started off reading your Ragnarok Rising series, and have my little fangasm moment when I realized that my friend Doug was D.A. Roberts. And I got into that story, and there's, much like your other books, there's a lot of death, and people that you like don't make it to the end, and then to see those people show up in some of the other books at a short time in their relative past, it's a lot of fun. Like a name will get dropped, you're like, oh yeah, and you realize that you're seeing an earlier version of this character. And and of course, since it all takes place in a relatively small geographic area, Ragnarok starts in Springfield, Missouri, and spreads out as far as Lebanon, St. Louis, and with the Wild Hunt being headquartered in Fort Leonard Wood, halfway between.
And some of the scenes in Ragnarok take place on Fort Leonard Wood.
Yeah, that's true. Some of the nastier ones. Yeah,
my son went to boot camp there. My son.
Yeah, I think the Fort
I did too.
Scene was the first of the calling you up, you son of a bitch, I'll never sleep again.
Steve, of all the crazy, goofy things that have happened to me since I published the first book, literally 10 years ago this month, the first book came out. So kind of a hallmark. 10 years ago this month, my first novel was published, and now I'm 26, almost 27 in. One of the coolest things that has ever happened to me was the night you made the connection that I was not just the security officer.
You're right. Yeah, for the fans who didn't hear that show, so my whole role in this is I'm just a super fan. That, and I'm kind of the cryptid agnostic. But I'm the super fan of books, and for a while they were kind of doing the author of the week kind of format with it. Well, anybody who has an Amazon account knows that Amazon is famous for because you read this, you might like this, ...
Right.
And so I'm a huge Jonathan Mayberry fan. I mean, he's my celebrity crush. And so I was reading one of his stories, and it said, hey, because you like this, I think I just read Patient Zero, actually, which is a zombie story.
Great book.
Because you read this, you might like this. And it asked me to read the first Ragnarok Rising story. I'm like, D.A. Roberts, okay. I said, haven't heard of him, but the synopsis sounds good. And so I read it, and I'm like, oh, hey, there's a second book. And I got 2 or 3 books into it, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I got sidetracked by something shiny, and I didn't read any more of them. Well, I ended up meeting DA as Doug, the security guard, and we were sitting there just bullshitting, and we were talking about books and something I was reading. He goes, well, I'm a writer, right? And I said, no, I didn't know that. And I said, what have you written? He goes, well, I've got this zombie series. And he's like, things are going to make sense. And I said, okay, where do I find it? Oh, it's on Kindle. It's under D.A. Roberts. I'm like, oh my God, you're D.A. Roberts. And it was completely like a nerdgasm moment. It was pathetic. I'm not very proud of it.
I think it was awesome. Was the look on your face? You were just in absolute shock.
Oh my God, it was yeah. It's funny. People, they always tell you don't meet your celebrity interest. They'll disappoint you or whatever. I'm a huge nerd. Like, the people I want to meet are writers. Maybe some musicians, but for the most part, it's writers. I wouldn't give a rat's hoot if I, got to meet the next biggest thing in Hollywood. But you give me Jonathan Mayberry, you give me Stephen King, you give me D.A. Roberts, that's what I'm into. And so it was kind of a cool moment, and got to download the rest of them and read them, and got to instantly vent to the author my pleasure and displeasure at various things he was doing, and then got to participate in a very small part with the foundation of the Codename Wild Hunt, and
it was more than a small part. You're being modest.
Got an autographed copy of the first edition the day it came out.
That's how my man crush started with him too, Steve. So don't feel bad.
It helps that he's a sexy bitch, but
he is.
When it's the beard,
it's the beard.
It's the beard.
I'm sorry, but he is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But no,
I know Ned's listening right now. She's like, "What are they?" What's wrong with them?
She's like, "What are you morons talking about?"
Yeah, what is wrong with them?
Hey, that's all right. She knows I'm stupid. She loves me anyway. But yeah, it's funny, and well, like I said, when I got to meet Jonathan Maber in Pennsylvania that day, I mean that was a huge deal to me, and it's like the typical person like, yeah, you met an author, whatever.
Yeah, but that's how I am with the gun industry, with 3-gun shooters. To me, like Terran Tactical, Terran, like him. If I ever met him, to be like, oh, that's how I am. Even with him with his books, I got hooked. I got hooked right away. So,
no.
Well, Steve's being incredibly modest. We were sitting at his dining room table, drinking Manhattans and old fashions, with basically me and a notebook and us bouncing ideas back and forth about the formation of Wild Hunt. Josh Dalton, who sometimes shows up, I recall always say hi, General, because I named the commanding general in charge of the Wild Hunt after him. He was a big help in creating the Wild Hunt too. He pulled a lot of military history for me, unit formations, so to breathe life into the Wild Hunt. But Steve and I, we came up with a lot of the characters setting there. In fact, I remember the look on his face when I told him who Gideon was, and I'm not going to give that away for those of you who haven't read the books, but Steve was like, "Oh."
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was almost that Home Alone scene.
But yeah, we were sitting at the table, and there was some expensive alcohol involved, and it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke now that the fictional Steve owns a bar, because for the most part my main role in the Wild Hunt series, me myself, was a bartender, and getting the creative juices flowing with a whiskey of choice, and that's really cool. I'm still waiting for the South Boston to show up in one of the books, but
It's gonna happen.
Steve, I guarantee you, if you opened up a bar and grill right outside of Fort Leonard Wood, you'd make a fortune.
Especially on the South Gate, because there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
What didn't somebody go up there looking for it?
Yeah.
Someone texted me through Facebook. They're like, "Hey, I'm near the South Gate of Fort Leonard Wood. I can't find Steve's pub."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Where the hell is it? Yeah.
And I just made that up.
Steve is not an ex-cop bartender. He's a nurse who lives in Springfield, who doesn't own a bar.
Although I would love to open Steve's Pub and Grub. That would just be an awesome. Hang all kinds of goofy crap.
Yeah, I was just saying, have all the memorabilia on the walls like in the book, and everybody walking in and be like, "Holy shit!" Wow.
David Bice says, "DA, sometime when I get through Springfield with some time, I'd love to meet you." Hey, man, shoot me a message. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Pink Dolly says, "DA, if I make it to the conference, I promise I will fangirl out."
So did I, Pink Dahlia. So did I. I'm not proud.
Well, just come on by the table. We'll be there, and I'm making a presentation. I think I'm on stage at 10:30 the morning of the conference. But the rest of the time I'll be at my table, and I'm happy to hang out. And like my buddy Barton Nunnally said, that although the schedule says that the conference is going to end at like 7, I'm going to be there as late as anybody wants to talk until they kick us out. If you guys are going to drive to Paris, Tennessee to come see me, I'm going to hang out and talk.
That's who said it here. Werewolf said it here. I went looking for it.
Oh, that's
I truly wish that bar existed. I would, because I'm telling you, wife shepherd pie. Mwah.
Think about it. If you put it out there, if you have, everybody knows your books and knows that thing, that segment in the book. Think about it. It probably would be pretty famous, not just with the soldiers that would, frequent it, just people that read the book.
Well, the fun thing about it is, and really all of your stories, because you have these brushes with reality in it. There's a lot of fact in the Steve character. I really do like to bartend. I don't own a bar, but I like to pour drinks.
He's good at it. Makes a mean Manhattan.
My wife's name is Rachel, and she's a hell of a damn cook. There's a reason I weigh 250 pounds. It's kind of fun, and I think that's what makes the book so fun, is they flirt with reality just enough that it pulls you in. And I do feel bad for anybody who goes out of their way looking for the bar in Fort Leonard Wood, though.
However, if you do go looking for, it was mentioned in a couple of the Apex Predator books and in the Lakeview Man, the most recent Lakeview Man, Beast of Blanc Road. There's a place in Rockaway Beach, Missouri called the Pizza Cellar. It is really there, and that's where the memorial was tonight. We all met and had dinner and talked, and it was at the Pizza Cellar. And even my wife's like, "Wow, their pizza's really good." I'm like, yeah, that's why I put it in a book. The place is awesome. It is this little, I mean, unless you know it's there, you'd probably never find it. Rockaway Beach is not exactly on the beaten path, but if you ever find yourself near Rockaway Beach, Missouri, it is worth the stop to go to the Pizza Cellar. It's worth the drive down there for their cheese bread, just for the cheese bread.
George made a good comment. That's pretty crazy.
Well, I appreciate it, man, and I certainly appreciate Cam giving us the shout out. Yeah, Cam's a good guy, really good guy.
He's awesome.
Okay, I think this might be the last one. Oh crap, this is a long one too. Yep, it's the last one, but it's a long story. So, Steve, I think this is longer than the one you had.
Sucks to be you.
I don't know if I've got permission to use the guy's actual name, but I've got the name of the guy who submitted it. So since I don't know if I've got permission to use the name, I won't. It just said the location was somewhere in the Southwest U.S. About 10 years ago. It says, I used to do some minor ranch handling and helped around a few farms in the general New Mexico area where I lived for a short period of time. One farm that I remember very distinctly had a problem of the supernatural proportions. They had a Chupacabra problem, to put it bluntly. And I'm not afraid to come out and say it. I've never believed in ghosts or supernatural nonsense before this. I never paid attention to Bigfoot or any of that stuff. What I encountered and experienced on that ranch, along with several others, I can't deny it anymore. It's changed how I view the world, and I think about these things around me. There's nothing else this creature could have been because no animal does what this thing did. It's unnatural. I know of no predator on this God-given earth that drains the blood of animals as this thing did for whatever reason. I just say something because there were several of them. It wasn't just one of these creatures acting by itself. They would target the horses and show up in the early morning hours. I'm talking around 1 to 3 a.m. Usually they would show up in groups of 3 or 4 and break into the barn and stables. They managed to take and kill 2 of our horses successfully. When we found them in the morning, they had 2 large holes in their lower neck, and their bodies were completely drained of blood. It was chilling to know that such an animal could do such a thing. I'll tell you what, though, that event made our owner up his firepower tenfold. And before you know it, we had a bunch of extra hired guns walking around fully armed with semi-automatic rifles. Even with all that hired muscle, I don't think we managed to kill even one of those things. I can tell you that I've probably heard several gunshots almost every night, if not every other night. I would always know they were around because the horses would start going crazy in their stalls. You could tell they were freaked out by something. Sure enough, the guards would go by and shine their lights, and there would be these little buggers. I shouldn't say little buggers because these things weren't tiny. If I had to estimate, I'd say they were child-sized. They were funny. I'm sorry, the way that it was written. If I had to estimate, I'd say the child-sized. They were hunched over. These things were gray and had a short snout with gargantuan canines. Their eyes were large and dark and sunken in. I couldn't exactly tell what color, if any, because the only time I saw them was when they were generally reflected eye shine late at night. They were a genuine nuisance, and we dealt with them for quite some time. Things died down after a few months, but it was quite a while there that they tried to get more horses, and they couldn't. Surprisingly, they never came after any of our other livestock. We had chickens, pigs, and several other livestock that, in my opinion, were a much more vulnerable location than our horses. Maybe these things have it out for horses. Perhaps they have a taste for horse meat. I don't know what you would call it. When we found the 2 horses' bodies, there wasn't a lick of flesh or blood anywhere on the horse. These things had not only been drained of all their blood, but the flesh had been peeled off their bodies, very meticulously. It appeared to be done with almost surgical precision, and it was not done carelessly. There were no signs of a struggle, no broken bones or gashes of any kind, just the 2 large puncture wounds in its neck and the flesh missing. That's the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night. When you realize this sort of thing, it's like I'm living in the X-Files. It makes you sit back and wonder what else they tell you is a lie and that is out there and exists right now. These things never attacked us or try to go after me or anyone else to my knowledge. I feel like if given a chance, if they were backed into a corner, who knows what they would be capable of.
Creepy.
Yeah.
It's interesting they have a taste for horse meat
Yeah.
over anything else. I mean, I guess
You
horses
know,
are probably really lean. But,
I would say horses not only lean, but you get a lot of blood for one kill.
Yeah.
You know, how many chickens would you have to kill to make up that amount of blood?
well, that's true. That and the damn feathers.
Yeah.
I'm picturing, Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Taking the chicken with an orange juicer.
Nice.
Not to mention the chickens are mean little bastards.
Yeah, they are. I can
Yeah,
tell
if
you
you've
a
never,
story
if
that
you've
would
never
make you
been taken
laugh.
by a rooster, you don't know true fear.
Well,
Those
let me
little
tell you. Hey,
crap.
I got
Yeah,
a story. You want to laugh? Me and my buddy Mike, that's seen the Bigfoot with me. We had a buddy named, his nickname was Rooster. He would raise these roosters that fought in West Palm Beach.
Fighting roosters, yeah.
Right, and he went away on a hunting trip to where he went, Montana or wherever he went. So he says to me and Mike, "Hey, do me a favor. Can you go feed the chickens for me and the roosters?" So Mike is about 6'4", 200 and something pound, big corn-fed Alabama boy, and he pulls up to the main gate and he closes the gate, walks in, and about maybe 4 minutes into it, I see him running down the driveway, down the dirt road. His t-shirt's all ripped, and behind him is this giant friggin' rooster chasing him. I mean, he's screaming, "Oh, get the shotgun behind."
We lost Anthony.
Oh, that's getting good too.
Anthony, we lost you, brother. Can you hear us?
From experience, I can tell your rooster is like a damn velociraptor.
I'm back.
Anthony, we lost you there for a second.
There he is.
Can you hear me?
And now.
So I grabbed the shotgun and I hand it to him. This thing is jumping up and cutting him. It's just shredding his shirt to no end. I've seen this guy wrestle alligators, grab a live hog and I've never seen him jump a fence and in panic like he did with this rooster. It was just crazy. And he calls up, he's like, "Bro, what's wrong with your rooster?" He goes, "Oh, I leave him out. He actually guards the yard." It's like this thing was crazy. It ripped his shirt. He's all full of blood. I'm like, man, that's I've never seen a rooster do that to someone. That's crazy the way he just attacked them.
When I was a kid, when we lived on the farm, Dad bought some chicks that so we could get a new rooster because our old rooster had been killed. Coyotes got it. But as this thing grew, we realized that it wasn't what we thought it was. It was what they refer to as a Banty fighting rooster.
Yeah.
It wasn't huge, but it had spurs on it about yay long.
Yeah.
And we'd go out to feed the chickens, and that thing would spur the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad kept clipping the spurs off, but they grew back. And finally, it got my mom, and my dad's like, "You know what? We're done." And he went out and shot it. I think it was just so stinking mean.
Yeah, they're nasty.
My grandmother raised chickens, and she would deliberately try to, when she bought them at the market, to get just hens. And every once in a while, maybe the new guy was working the line and he misidentified a hen, and so she ended up with a rooster. Well, she ended up with a pretty good sized rooster that way, and he was mean as hell. And I would spend the summers at my grandma's farm because I grew up in a small town, and the farm was kind of cool as a neat little getaway. And I had cousins my age, and we'd go down there. Well, I wanted to help Grandma out, and she sent me in to go get eggs from the hen house. Well, I didn't realize that damn rooster was in there. And apparently when my grandmother would go get eggs, she would carry a little piece of garden hose that she had, and she would use that to beat the damn rooster because it would attack her. And you understand, my grandmother was about 5 feet of attitude. You didn't mess with Grandma. And I went in to go get the eggs, and of course the damn thing was laying in wait, and it attacked me. And so it's pecking at my head and clawing at my head, and I'm running through the screen door trying to get out of the hen house. Well, sheer reflex, I grabbed the thing, and dispatched him. And I thought my grandmother was going to be so pissed, and she's like, "Oh, he was a mean bastard." He goes, "But now you're going to help me clean it because he's going to be supper." And I decided that I had no desire to own chickens after that. But he was tasty.
My homemade chicken and dumplings are the best.
That's exactly what we turned him into.
Pink Dahlia asked about the date of the conference. If you mean the Dogman conference, it's on the 13th of August in Paris, Tennessee. Yeah, roosters are a little tougher than like a hen. So every time we ever killed a rooster, it became chicken and dumplings.
Yeah, my wife grew up on a farm, and she used to call that the martial art that you learned owning roosters barnyard karate. And apparently she was a black belt practitioner in said art.
Yeah, they're nasty, man. He shot that rooster with that 12 gauge. He got in the truck, grabbed it, and then we called him and where he was, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I killed your rooster." He's like, "What? That was my prize fighter." And Bo, I'm like, "Bro, that thing attacked the hell out of him." I mean, he was so mad at us. He didn't talk to us for months after that. But yeah, one of those roosters, they're so big. He had these giant roosters that were just all different colors. I mean, these things must have stood 2, 3. I mean, they were huge. Well, I got them both in here. I'm fighting it away. They were about this big. I mean, they were just huge.
I thought you were having a rooster flashbacks there for a minute.
No, it was a bug flying in my face.
Rooster PTSD.
Oh, stop it! Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but I've never seen roosters this big that he had. He had these giant roosters that were just fluorescent green and blue, and I mean, just massive. They were just big, and he fought them. They actually glue like hot wax razors on the back of their spurs.
Yeah,
and that's how they fight. And I'm like, bro, why would you do that? And he's like,
no kidding.
They're just roosters. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, he was big into it.
The spurs on roosters are bad enough. In fact, I think I've still got a scar on my leg from one.
I've seen them.
Guys got weaponized roosters.
Pink Dahlia says, okay, thank you.
Roosters of mass destruction.
But she just, look what she put. Yeah, having flashbacks. Can't be around chickens at all.
Yeah, I would never go to an animal fight. I think that's bad.
No, but he did it.
Just horrible.
Yeah, and I was just like, why would you go and do? But hey, that was him.
You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those roosters with spurs are bad enough on their own. I wouldn't want to get one jumping on me that had a razor blade on it.
I remember the first time I saw
femoral and kill you.
The original Jurassic Park, and there's a scene in there. Sorry, my dog. There's a scene in Jurassic Park where the raptor's kind of tapping its claw on the ground. Damn, rooster grandma had used to do that.
My dog hears your dog whining. My boss is over here looking around like, what is that? He actually hears it through the headphones. Like he just picked up and was like this, looking around.
My son took the other dog out, and Cora heard the other dog, and even though she always gets to go right afterwards, she's convinced that she's missed out on something.
Yeah, that's my too. Same here. Yeah, I don't know how he heard that. He perked right up. He was like this, looking around. He was looking.
Dogs have good hearing.
Well, my dog is half shepherd, half husky, so she's loud. Very loud.
But I got my headphones on, bro. I have no speakers on. Just my headphones.
Have you ever seen the WKRP in Cincinnati episode where they bombed the city with
turkeys? Yeah, with the turkeys. Yeah. Turkeys I remember that one. Yeah, from the helicopter.
That episode's classic.
Yeah, we're in the helicopter doing it.
Tombstone's in Australia. It says his dogs are perking.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
David Bison, his Chihuahua didn't react though.
Oh well. Yeah, the whole scene in WKRP was they said turkeys can't fly. That was the whole mythical thing in the series. Meanwhile, turkeys can fly, but they were dropping the turkey. Huh?
Tame turkeys can't.
What do you mean, game turkeys?
Tame turkeys, ones that have been domesticated.
Yeah, no, the wild turkeys can fly. I know.
You've ever gone turkey hunting, you know that.
Oh no, not just that. I hit one in my truck. Hit one in the windshield.
That one didn't fly so well after that, though.
Yeah, so yeah, they do fly. They perch up in trees. That's where they roost.
Werewolf 5674 says the best. I didn't know they couldn't fly. It's a funny thing about tame turkeys.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they have to raise them in those big brooder houses is I had a friend in high school. His family raised turkeys for Tyson, and those morons, domesticated turkeys that are raised for food are so stupid that if they're outside when it rains, they'll drown because they look up and they'll sit there and get hit in the face with raindrops and drown.
I remember that Mike Rowe did an episode of Dirty Jobs at a turkey farm, and he was in the brooding house with him. And like when he would move, he'd get the attention like all of them. There's like 300 turkeys in this thing, and he's going, and like, oh, it was the funniest damn thing.
Yeah, they're stupid. They are dumb. Wild turkeys, smartest thing you ever ran across. Let me tell you.
I will never forget when I was younger. My father had gone to one of these like drive-through petting zoo. You know, like they had like bison there. They would come up to the window and you could feed them, you know, kibble and stuff like this. Well, I get my intelligence from my father. He's an idiot, just like I am. And so they were driving through this little farm, and Cora hush. And there was this big male turkey there with his little harem of about 6 or 7 hens. And he was about 10, 12, 15 feet from the car. And my dad, being the intellectual he is, thought it'd be fun to gobble at the turkey because the male was all fanned up. You could tell he was, showing off that he was the male of this little harem. And so, windows rolled down in this van, and my dad drives through, and he gobbles at this damn thing. And so it jumped in, went in the window and tried to attack him. And so my parents are known for owning vehicles that need some repair, and so the power window in his van ran super. They're
waving to Rachel. Sorry.
The turkeys jump in the window, and they're holding the window down. Of course, it's going up very, very slowly. And this turkey is attacking my father, and the window's crawling. And my mother's in the passenger seat screaming, "Get it up, get it up, get it up, get it up!" My dad got his neck was cut, and his face was cut. All because he gobbled the damn turkey.
Turkeys can be nasty. I've seen them.
3 college degrees.
When I was young and I used to turkey hunt all the time, I'd get those little the reeds that you put in your mouth and do the turkey calls. I'd go out and practice on tame turkeys just to see how they'd react.
Yeah, they're crazy. I can tell you that. I used to hunt turkeys like nuts in Palm Beach. Let me tell you. I mean, they're just... You'd be surprised how they act. People don't realize it. I've had a decoy. Man, my decoys I would have to replace every year because it would just destroy a decoy. They'd jump on it and just rip it apart and spur it, and by the time you're talking a $40 decoy, you're like, no, can't use that anymore. Throw it away. You'd have to replace it. Well, yeah, they get nasty.
Yeah, a lot of animals, even tame ones, can get pretty mean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. We are past the 2-hour mark. I want to go back and remind folks, if you're going to be in the Lexington, Missouri area on the 23rd and 24th of September, fall into the supernatural. I'm going to be one of the guests there. I'll be doing the cryptid portion. I'll be doing a presentation. I'll have my books there. I'll also be helping with what they're calling the Bigfoot hunt. Basically, we're going to set up by the woods and use some equipment to see if we can catch anything on a FLIR and stuff like that. So it should be a good time. We'll also be talking about different casting techniques and things like that. It's kind of a tutorial on Bigfoot hunting. Should be a good time. The link for that is on Eventbrite, and I'm posting that in the chat right now. If you guys are going to be anywhere near Lexington, Missouri in late September, I'd love to see you guys there. Also remind you guys that I will also be appearing at the first annual Dogman conference in Kentucky. I'm not Kentucky, in Tennessee, in Paris, Tennessee. And there's a whole list of guest speakers. I'll be one of them. And that's in Paris, Tennessee on August 13th. I don't have the Eventbrite link on that. If you go to either of my Facebook pages, you can find the links to this conference, or go over to Paranormal Roundtable and you can find them there as well. But I hope to see you guys there. I'll also be a pro guest at Archon in St. Louis, which is a fantasy and sci-fi convention. It's been around for a long time. It's a pretty big convention. It's actually just across the river from St. Louis in Collinsville, Illinois. They have great attendance every year. If you're going to be anywhere in the St. Louis area, the last weekend in September, it's like September 30th to October 2nd. It's a 3-day show. I'll be there as a pro guest, and we're going to set up a table and have books and everything there. And I'll be doing some panels. I've got actually scheduling 5 panels, probably 2 of them with Jonathan Mayberry. So I hope you guys will turn out for that. There's going to be some great people. There's some talented authors. So come on out. If you already got a book and want me to sign it, bring it. Yeah, or if you don't, I've got them. I'll have them at the table. So I hope to see you guys there on all of those. That would be freaking awesome. I'd love to see you guys come to the shows. I'll also have, although I haven't gotten them on the website yet, we've been trying. My son and I just haven't really got it set up yet, but I will have these on the tables as well.
Nice.
The codename Wild Hunt patches, Team Odin. Those will be on the table as well. And Annette and I were talking about those, and we may make those convention specials, where the only way you can get them is at a convention. Of course, I'll get you guys one.
I was going to say I'd like to have my hookup.
Yeah,
I was going to say the same thing.
I've been needing to get
my prototype.
Yeah, that's the original prototype. These are PVC. They'll last forever.
Yeah.
Velcro backed. They're super nice. Those were done by a friend of Carrie Davis's, who owns a patch company, and I cannot remember the name of the company that does them, but they did a great job on the patches. And we're going to be getting more. We're going to get some patches made for the Nightmare Hunter project. We're probably also going to get some for the logo for the Ragnarok Rising books, and we're working on a couple other logos. I want to do a logo for each series, so look for those coming. Hopefully, not too long.
So you want to do the flash patches for each unit? You mean? No.
We're going to do like the Nightmare Hunter logo.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
This logo.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing some for that. I don't have the other logos loaded, but I've got logos for like the Ragnarok Rising books, and we're going to be doing logos for the other series as well. But we're going to get patches of all of those. So that's something we're working on. Hopefully, we'll have it done here in the very near future. The next book that's going to be released is the one I'm working on right now. It's called Man's Marauders. The working title is A Planet Too Far, which is a play on the World War II movie A Bridge Too Far. Because it's the premise of the movie A Bridge Too Far is about a military unit that gets cut off behind enemy lines. Similar thing happens here, but I don't want to give away too much yet. For those of you who are members of the Patreon community, the first chapter of that book is up for the patrons to read. I'm also going to be posting a short story over there here in the next few days. We've got some videos that I made down in Arkansas, and in it was near Hot Springs, Arkansas, and another one at Fouke, Arkansas. That will be up hopefully this week for the Patreon community and the people who are members of the YouTube channel. So there'll be a couple more videos coming. They would have been up a while back, but we've had some technical issues. My son does my video editing now, and his computer has been down until yesterday. He had to send his graphics card off to be warrantied out, and it was just a wreck. But he got it back yesterday. He's back online. Hopefully, he'll have the videos done in the next couple of days, and we can get those uploaded for the Patreons over at the Patreon community. Which you guys, if you guys want to join the Patreon community and help support the future of the DA verse, have input on the DA verse, and have access to some of the stuff before it even hits the shelves. Check out the Patreon community. That's at patreon.com/DA Roberts Author. David Weiss is the Fouke Monster. Yeah, I went to the Monster Mart in Fouke, Arkansas. Shot some video. Met the owner. Super nice guy.
Where are the pictures you got? Can't you throw them up real quick? Yeah, the pictures
sure.
Throw them up, show right? Yeah, they're pretty cool.
There's one. That's in one of the displays. There's me out front by the big monster, the big Bigfoot on the front. Here's some of the plaster casts they had there. Really a cool place.
Yeah.
There's more of them. I've got a ton of pictures that I took, but I don't have them all uploaded here to the channel because it would just be way too many. But that's my favorite.
I love it.
And I am planning on setting a book in the Falk area, so that's going to happen in the near future.
You're thinking one of the Lakeview Man stories, or
maybe I haven't decided which one yet. I haven't decided if it's going to be Lakeview, Apex Predator, or Wild Hunt, but one of them will be set in the Falk area, not so distant future.
cool.
Annette and I went down there. We drove all over the place. I'm one of those writers, I guess, like Louis L'Amour, who likes to see the places I write about. Now, granted, if you've read Codename Wild Hunt, Operation Blood Eagle, I haven't been to Argentina. That one was done with Google Earth. I had to basically look at the area, look at the street view of the towns, and kind of get a feel for it. Because obviously, I haven't been to Argentina. But every place else, like LBL and down on Table Rock Lake, I go and I hang out in those areas. I get a feel for the areas because you can't describe how a place makes you feel or how the area smells or the feeling of being there after dark. You can't describe that accurately if you haven't been there. So I try to do that as much as I can with the books. And the next Wild Hunt, obviously, I'm not going to be able to go to Dyatlov Pass. So I'm just going to have to go by movies and videos I've seen of that area. David By says, where'd that go? Thought I posted that. Says if you're down by Broken Bow, Oklahoma, there's a truck stop called Gas Squatch. I've driven to Broken Bow. We went down to Durant, Oklahoma, and we drove through that area. And there's some really, really cool places down there, places I want to go scout out for locations for the books. One of the reasons we went to Durant was, Annette likes casinos, and there's a big one there, the Choctaw Casino. But like 8 minutes away is Brown Springs, where there's been some famous Bigfoot incidents. And my plan was to go to Brown Springs, but it had rained so much while we were down there. The place was a swamp. So there's no way I was getting in and out without a four-wheel drive. Well, I could have got in. Getting back out might have been the problem.
Well, gentlemen, it is getting to the point where I think my coach is turning into a pumpkin and the natives are getting restless here. So I think I'm going to tap out.
All right, brother.
As always, it's a pleasure, guys. And to the community, you guys are awesome. And you kept me entertained. And I hope I've, in some small way, helped you all over the last
it was awesome, brother. Thanks for helping out with the stories.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Maybe next time my voice will be back a little bit better. But you guys take care and God bless you, and we'll see you next time.
You too, brother. Tammy Lamb says, "DA, you aren't going to be too far from LBL when you're in Paris. Are you going to visit?" That's the plan. We'll see if the plan survives contact with my wife, but that's the plan. I want to go back into LBL. Had a really good time the last time I was in LBL, so I'm hoping to be able to go back. It's coming up on the 2.5 hours mark. Yeah, I'm going to start winding things down. I just want to remind everybody about the upcoming conferences where I'm going to be making appearances. We're going to be booking a lot more. My wife always loved doing the conventions. We did a lot of them back before the big C hit us. But we did a lot of shows, and we're going to get back into doing a lot more. And we're slowly branching out of our area. So they're going to be making a lot of appearances, both at Bigfoot conferences and at other like sci-fi, fantasy, and horror conventions. There's a big one in Kansas City. It's a big horror convention. We want to do that. And there's a bunch of horror conventions down near Ocala where Anthony lives that we want to hit too. So we've got a lot of those shows that we're going to be booking and doing in the near future. There's some things we got to get done first before we can get too far. But the ultimate goal is to make it to Gen Con and Dragon Con, which are two of the hugest conventions next to San Diego Comic-Con. Once we're actually doing shows like that, that's huge. I've
been seeing the advertisement here for that.
For Dragon Con?
Both of them, like crazy.
Dragon Con's in Atlanta. Dragon Con's in Atlanta, and Gen Con is in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
both are massive, like 200,000 people go to those.
I never heard of it until I seen the commercials. I was like, and then you mentioned it, I was like, oh, that's the one he's going to. but they're all over. They're promoting the hell out of it here.
Yeah. So I'm hoping. I made the alternate guest list for Dragon Con a few years back, but I didn't end up going because I wasn't one of the authors selected. But I'm hoping that with things the way if they've progressed in the last couple of years that I'm more on the radar than I used to be. But again, if you guys get a chance to go to either Lexington, Missouri, St. Louis for Archon, or if you're going to be at the Paris, Tennessee convention, come see me. I'd love to meet you guys face to face. And believe me, I'm not one of those guys that acts one way on a show and then a different way in public. What you see is what you get. I'm just a hillbilly from the sticks of Missouri, and I'd be damn happy to meet any one of you. Just the kind of guy I plan to always be. And what Pink Dahlia was saying earlier, if anybody knows anybody in the movie, I would love that. I would love to see the books on the big screen. That would just be awesome. Meg Mills says,
Speaking of that, have you heard from Jesus?
Not in the past few days. I need to message him, see how he's doing. Hopefully he's doing pretty good, because I know he was wanting to get that RV and get everything set up. So hopefully he got that done. But again, folks, check out those conventions if you're going to be anywhere near those. I'd love to see you guys there. If you haven't had a chance to check out any of my books, you can check out all of them at daroberts.net. All of the books can be linked directly to Amazon, where you can purchase them all in Kindle, print, or in hardback editions. Some of them are available on audio, but we are working on doing more. I'm probably going to start recording the second of the Ragnarok Rising books personally, and then probably branch into other books from there. But Kerry Davis, who couldn't be with us tonight because his internet got knocked out by storms, is probably going to be doing a couple of the series himself. And then, we'll just kind of see how things go from there. Lorraine Booth says, going to have to catch up tomorrow. Have a great night. You too. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Pink Dahlia says, I got to get a book. If you want to wait till the Paris, Tennessee convention, I'll have the whole collection on the table. So we'd love to see you there. Tombstone gave us a super chat. Much love, brother. Thank you very much. If you guys haven't checked out the Nightmare Hunter Project on Facebook, it's a new open group I started. And if you have a podcast and you would like to share the Nightmare Hunter logo, which is this logo, where'd it go? Right here. If you'd like to use that, I've been trying to encourage people. See, it not just ties into my books, but it ties into the podcast. That if we can all work together to help promote each other, we can get past a lot of the Facebook algorithms. If you purchase advertising on Facebook, really it's kind of a scam, because they limit where your posts go to. I mean, how many times have someone in your own family missed a post you post because it didn't show up in their feed? Facebook controls how far your posts go. And if you pay them, they'll let you actually reach more of the people you're already friends with, which is ridiculous. So I tried buying Facebook advertising, and it really wasn't worth the money. So this way, if we promote each other and we're sharing each other's work, then we're extending our own networks through more people. And that's really what it's all about. I'm 100% behind everybody that's doing podcasts or books or writers or artists, anybody that wants to be part of the Nightmare Hunter Project, so we can help promote each other. Because I don't believe anybody out there is my competition, because I don't look at it that way. Just because somebody buys one of my books doesn't mean they can't buy someone else's books. I don't see other writers as my competition. I don't see other podcasters as my competition. We're all in the same boat, just trying to tell our stories and share our experiences with the world. And I wish the best of luck to each and everyone out there on that. And that's what the Nightmare Hunter Project is all about. Of course, there's also going to be a book series called the Nightmare Hunter Project. It's evolving from the Nightmare Hunter for Uncanny Valley. Got a super chat from the Pink Dahlia. Agreed. Much love. You have a great community, DA. Thank you so much. And, I've said it before. I've said it many times. I know I'll always say it. We don't have fans. We have friends. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you guys that are in the audience, and you guys chose to spend some time with us. David Weiss says, I'm just a dumb hillbilly that can shoot and drive anything with wheels. I'm right there with you, man. I'm just a farm kid from Route 3, Lebanon, Missouri. Grew up on a farm, and that's pretty much all I'll ever be. Oh, Corey Cole says, was helping family, missed the show. Well, brother, I think you missed a good one. We were reading actual accounts, eyewitness accounts of cryptids, and I think we had a really good time doing it, and I hope you guys liked it. It's just something that I kind of thought of doing, and it's something I want to do more of. If you guys liked it, let us know. Send us some feedback. You can reach me at daroberts@daroberts.net. And again, if you guys want to be part of the Patreon community, go over to patreon.com/darobertsauthor, and you'll be able to get advanced looks at some of the books. I mean, right now, the first chapter of the new book in progress is already up for the patrons to check out. So hope you guys will go check that out and give it a like and a share.
Yeah, hit that like button on top there. We only got 2, and there's like 83 people. We had 100. Come on. You got to hit that like button.
Werewolf 5674 says, I thought you ended Nightmare Hunter with Dark Moon. Yes, but I also mentioned in Dark Moon that they were approaching some of the other characters in that about the Nightmare Hunter project. And that's going to be the continuation of the Nightmare Hunter. It's going to be more than just one character. So you'll see that in the Nightmare Hunter project, it'll profile different characters. Pink Dolly says, this was great live watching the replay of you kisses at the beginning. Well, thank you so much. That is awesome. Really appreciate you guys. Folks, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We don't have fans, we have friends. And also, stories are journeys that we take together. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for taking that journey with us. You guys are awesome. I so appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you guys for spending your evening with us. And we will see you guys on Wednesday night when we'll have, I think it's Todd Neese who's going to be on the show. And I know before I'd mentioned that we were going to discontinue the Wednesday show. Well, that's put on indefinite hold because there's going to be a lot of Saturday shows in the coming future I'm going to have to miss because of some of these convention appearances. I may live stream from the conventions, but it won't be like a normal show. I may just live stream from the conventions on Saturday nights. But Wednesday nights may be, well, for at least a few weekends anyway, maybe the only show of that week. And I'll let you guys know plenty in advance when that's going to happen. But the Wednesday shows are not going away just yet. I can't think of anything else I need to throw out there. Anthony, you got anything?
No, nothing. I can't. You got everything covered, pretty much.
So I hope to see you guys at the conventions. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're watching us on Facebook, please head over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/daxmachina, and like and subscribe to the channel, because the more subs and the more likes we get on these videos, the farther YouTube will help broadcast these. And it helps the channel grow, and it helps the algorithm from promoting the videos. So we would definitely appreciate all the likes, shares, and subscribes you guys could give us. Very much appreciated. And again, also, if you've purchased the books, any of the books, make sure you leave a review on Amazon, because the Amazon algorithm is fueled by reviews. They don't even start putting you in the newsletter or promoting your work until you hit 50. And they really don't even start pushing the books until you hit 100. So, every book review, even if it's just, however many stars you think the book was worth, and good book, whatever, you can put, 2 words, nice book or something like that. Those help. Every review helps. So, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're leaving a review on the books. Appreciate you guys so much for being here tonight. See if I missed any comments. I think I'm caught up. And again, appreciate you guys being here. Anthony, brother, thank you for being here, brother.
Thank
Steve,
you.
I know you already took off, but thank you for being here. I hope you guys have a great night. And again, we will see you on Wednesday night when we have Todd Neese on the show. So you guys have a great night. You guys be safe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and try and stay cool in this all this heat. So hope you guys have a great night. And again,
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAX Machina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.